Whoa. It's not going to help if I don't plug those in. There they go. Headphones, check. Microphone, microphone, check. Sounds of the man, sounds of the man, sounds of the man, sounds of the man. Check. So it's headphones, check. Microphone, check. Soundboard, check. Start the stream. Oh, I did. Check. That never gets old, at least for me. Hello and good evening to you, ladies, gentlemen. Absolutely terrible first half for Mike Malone. Daniel Miller's already started. We know how this one's going to go tonight.
I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. I love y'all. Every day in my hood, I bet I'm a nice worker.
Daniel Miller's already in with Mike Malone's schmack. You are nothing if not a pillar of consistency, Daniel Malone, and that is why we love you here. Wanted to speak for Nuggets fans. Speak for yourself. Well, you know how this is going to go. It's 5 to go times Good News Travel Fast. Nuggets in Milwaukee, as it were. Taking on the Bucks. Rough start for Michael Porter Jr. as the post-break slump sort of continues. We'll keep an eye on that. Joker is already out to a great start. Almost had a double-double in the first half. Russell Westbrook has been effective off the bench. Nuggets have blown a couple of bunny layups at the rim, but at the half they lead 57-54. So we'll talk about that. I do have some other things while this third quarter unfolds, while we do the Good News Travel Fast part of this that we'll sort of cover before we get to the 5 to go segment part, which is usually about fourth quarter when they run like this. I like when the Nuggets are, outside of the Western time zones, outside of the Mountain time zone, because the game starts right around the time, or we get right here and I can start my show and do Nuggets basketball talk and all those things with you guys, stuff like that there. 3-pointer from Jamal Murray to start the second half. Nuggets up 60-54. Well, I think I've covered all the things. As the music runs out, you let it run, and then you start to.
And now it's time to play everybody's favorite game.
Good news. Good news.
We are having that combination. Jesus Christ. We can't run.
Welcome in, welcome back, welcome one and all to the Players Ball, the annual Players Ball, the nightly Players Ball, also known as Good News Travel Fast. My name, who am I? You see it right there on the screen. My name's Oren Lamento. Who are you? What's your name? What do you do? I'm a man. I'm 52. Who are you? You know who I really, really, really enjoy watching not do well is Kyle Kuzma. Never liked that guy. Mike Porter Jr. trying to get his game started going inside. That's a thought. There's a thought. Yo!
I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. I love y'all.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice
It
worker.
was a bit of a rough start for CB. He had a couple of missed layups that were just like, I mean, bunnies right at the rim in the first half. But, you know, the one thing that I'm confident in is Christian Brown has crossed a threshold. He's crossed over. He is officially, I think, arrived as somebody that you can count on. I think we can count on his production, to be honest with you. Much more can be said for Christian Brown's production and consistency than I think Michael Porter Jr., which is kind of surprising. For a guy that's 6'10", his prowess around the basket is intriguing. And I'm talking about Michael Porter, MPJ. For a guy 6'10", so he's been 6'10" his whole life. So you would figure that, you know, certain things would just be kind of second nature-ish, just around the basket. It's the most awkward thing in the world to watch him work around the basket, except for when he's got a clear, like a clear dunk. Everything else is just an adventure. It's kind of interesting. Nuggets lead 64-62. 7 minutes, 41 some odd seconds left to go in the third. You guys see Epstein's list released? Oh, we knew how that was going to go, didn't we? We knew how that was going to go. I had to do it. There was no way in the world I was going to come on here. The only reason is because it was just this thing like, oh, they're going to release the list. As soon as this Cash Patel gets in there, they're going to release the list. Oh, they're going to release that list. I mean, day one. I think that's what he said. And then it's like, Pam Bondi's talking all that shit. It's like, oh, yeah, you know. Day one. Then it's like, oh, it's on my desk. I'm reviewing it. Reviewing what? Just release the list. And then it's kind of like, okay, I see where this is going. And then they released it a big ass redacted. It's just like, what the fuck do we live in? Anyway, I won't camp out there too long. I won't cap out there too long. Yeah, it got released, but it was weird how they did it. They were like, oh, they gave all here. I'll just show you. They gave all these senators these binders. It's this weird performative. You know they're not going to do that thing. You know why? Because I hate to break this to anybody who picked a side. If you believe in the duopoly, I just feel bad for you. If you think that your side's the good guys, you're ideologically captured. I'll just say that. Anyway, so 5 fouls on Giannis. That guy, he plays the game at a torrid pace. He plays the game at a torrid pace, and that pace is why it's kind of laughable. I heard Brandon Jennings, former high school phenom, NBA cup of coffee guy who is on Gil's Arena, said that hands down, far and away, Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in basketball. I'm like, what? He plays the game hard. He's got a skill set. He's one of the most, it's almost like a Shaq conversation where he's one of the most indomitable forces when he's able to do what he does well, but he's so easily neutralized. I just don't. Like, best player in basketball, hands down. In a way. It's like, is that you just not wanting to give it to Joker? Exactly. He's got the strength and power of, 10,000 men. And I think the things that he's done to work on his game, he's got a turnaround that he's added. He's constantly added to his game. So I'll give him credit. He's grown. I think every year he has gotten better. But there's only, and it's just like it's like filling a shopping cart full of bricks and just pushing it downhill, letting it go downhill. It's like, best player in basketball? It's like, come on, man. Because what? Because you like dunks or because you just don't like white people? I'm kidding. It can't be race, right? Get the shot up, Aaron. Good job. Yeah, so here, let me just kick to this thing real quick, because this has been all the buzz and all the rays, and they Epstein files, what I mean, they went from a release to files. Like, oh no, not the release, the file. We're not going to release the list, it's the files. Like, the files. Aren't the files the list? So this is what they ended up doing. This shit is ridiculous. What'd you say? Joker's getting worked in the middle right now, though. Yeah. Everybody's got the book. They're going to throw a lot of guys at him. That thing that I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Certain parts about Aaron Gordon's game to me are just, this year especially, he's just too laissez-faire for me. I'm going to hammer on that. He just does things that I'm just like, bro, like, are you that cool? Like, everything he does is kind of like half-ass. Even the way he runs is just, it's just half-ass. He's been pissing me off lately. I hate you because you look different. Anyway, let me show you this piece of performance art. This is what they did, right? So they're like, they put together these binders. I thought the list was going to go online. And I don't know why we thought that. Why did we think that they would share with the American people, with the taxpayers, you know, the information that the FBI collected about this Epstein list? Why would they share that with us? Why would they do that? Right. And so this is what they did in return. They released these binders, and then the information inside the binders were just heavily redacted. And everybody's like, and so everybody who thought that these guys, the new guys, were the good guys, is starting to figure out. They're going to figure out in short order, and they've been figuring out. Oh, it's all the same shit. Yeah, it's all the same shit. So there's that. I'm there with you, Oren. I've been on AG all year. He's a fan favorite, is what I've noticed about AG. It ain't his game. Yeah, it's like he doesn't play hard, and you just see it in his. Now I'm always going to give him his kudos. You can count on AG to defend the other team. Like, he's done a great job on Giannis. And I know he probably expends a lot more energy on the defensive side than maybe the layman like myself was going to give him credit for. You know what I mean? But it's still just something about, like, every turnover that he has is on some half-ass, lazy, lackadaisical, just boneheaded, were you just smoking pot in the tunnel type play. And I just can't. I expect way more of a guy who I do consider to be a professional. And AG's played and filled a role for this team that, God, imagine what we'd be like without him. But I'm over it, man. I'm like, if the vets play like undisciplined rookies, what do you expect from the right? That's my whole point with it. I wonder how worried the fake president over the Epstein list. Yeah, I know. It's the thing about it. The thing about it is, we can do two things at once. We can talk about basketball, and this is the best time to talk about it. The best time to talk about, political things is when sports is on, because then you can just mix the two. I think the thing that is incumbent upon us now, the writing's on the wall, you guys. For us, I call this my league of extraordinary gentlemen, because you're smart enough to be like, you're smart enough. You get it. You know what's going on. And I think it's just incumbent upon us to start having conversations amongst ourselves. Like, I've been talking to my peoples, like my community, and I really do think this is going to sound, hopefully, everybody be big boys. I'm just saying, as a voter block, I think that, to my credit, I think that we as a community, I mean, the Black community is ready to leave the Democratic Party. Many of us. When I say we, that doesn't count me. I'm more of a libertarian type. But it's just this foregone conclusion that Blacks are going to vote Democratic, and I think that people are swiftly figuring out, like, oh, that was kind of a ruse. I mean, they just kind of counted on our vote and you never got anything out of it. And I think it's time I want a workers' party is what I really want. I think it's time for the American Workers' Party. And I think that everyone who is not blue collar, but everyone who earns less than, let's say, $150,000 a year should be in this party. And I think that we mobilize ourselves as a group of independent and W-2 employees, and we leverage. There's like tomorrow, I don't know if you guys know this, but tomorrow there is supposed to be an international a day of not spending. I don't know if you guys know this. There's supposed to be a day of not spending money with the system, and we'll see how that works. I think every time they put stuff out there like that, and you have to be willing. Like a day's not going to do anything. You tell the system, oh, we're not going to spend with you guys for a day. They just buckle up for it, and they're just like, oh, okay, whatever. You won't spend with us for a day. You'll be back. That's how they feel, because we live in a consumer economy, right? So how do consumers get power back in a consumer economy? Stop spending money. Now that's a hard thing to ask of people. You know what I mean? Because people have needs and whatever, I don't know, you need toilet paper, or you need that 7-Eleven fucking hot dog. You just have to have it. The things that you have to spend your money on. Like I can't not spend my money, right? And it's like, well, that's the only power that you kind of have. Michael Porter Jr., God damn, this dude why are you 6'10"? Why? Somebody tell me why Michael Porter Jr. is 6'10" tall. Please explain it to me. Because he plays like a guy who has just got new legs or some shit, and he might as well be 6'3". Why are you 6'10"? God damn. So anyway, tomorrow's supposed to be a day of, tomorrow is supposed to be a day of not spending any money. And it's like, well, if you're going to do it tomorrow, you might as well extend it, because these obligatory and Aaron Gordon shooting threes. Sometimes with the Nuggets, I can't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm in complete fan mode. So get ready for it. I have to look away from the television, because everybody but Joker is just a fucking joker. Everybody but Joker is just pisses me off the way I'm in red ass fan mode. So I'm just preparing you guys for it tonight. I'm in red ass. Everything's going to piss me off about this game fan mode. So I'm just letting you know. Fishing, there's going to be a lot of bitching coming from me when it comes to watching this game. I'm just letting you know. Everything that they're doing is just twisting my tits. Everything that I'm seeing. All right. 2 conversations at one time. So tomorrow's supposed to be a national don't spend any money day. I hope everybody participates, and I hope you guys I hope we can all kind of extend it past tomorrow. You know what I mean? You want to make a difference. Like the questions are being asked, should Trump resign? I don't give a shit. When I say I don't give a shit, he signs all these executive orders, but until they get the message that we're not fucking around, and you got to hit them where it matters, and that's while it still matters. You know what I mean? At a certain point in time, I don't think it's going to matter that we don't spend money with them, if you understand what I'm saying. So let's see. I'm there with you, Oren. I've been on a fanfare. Okay, yeah, and I read that one already. I wonder how worried the fake president is over the Epstein list. Not worried at all, because he's got friends on it. When are those investigators that went to Hawaii going to tell us about Obama's birth certificate? Psh, bro, I could show you some stuff down that rabbit hole. You wouldn't believe how easy it's been to just hide things in plain sight. The great emancipator. The reincarnation of the great emancipator. Listen, I loved the happening that was Barack Obama, but everything about his presidency, just kind of look at that, blocked at the rim, and then starts crying to the ref. You know why? Because Aaron Gordon is about as unprofessional as they come. Fucking hell, man. It's really annoying to watch. Blocked at the rim, and then he looks to the ref like, well, what the? It's like, lackadaisical, exactly. I was going to say that. That's exactly what it is. He does that too cool for, I'm talking about AG now. He does that too, oh yeah, straight. He does that too cool for school thing. He plays like like he thinks it's a game of 2K. He's trying to just be effective. Should Trump resign? I think I answered that question. I don't give a shit. I'd rather know which of Oprah's people lit the fires in Hawaii. Oh, was Charlie Beagle in the house? My bad. I missed that. Charlie Beagle, that was you.
I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. I love y'all. Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
He already has. He's just a figurehead for Musk. Kind of seems like it. Doesn't it kind of seem like there was this thought that there's this thought that Elon. This is what the story was, is that he left the election night proceedings early because he was like, Trump won. He had all his counters on it. You know what I mean? Trump won, it's over. And then now that's blue and on, that would be the left side. Now they are saying that it was rigged on the other side. So before MAGA QAnon was saying that the Republicans rigged it. Now blue and on is saying that what's your name of them rigged it. But you see how Elon's acting. He is acting like a guy who and the amount of money that he stands to make in defense contracts, more money he stands to make in defense contracts. Did you see the sweetheart deal that Jeff Bezos is giving Melania Trump for her man, we're some suckers, man. For her documentary. It's like a $48 million deal, 26 of which she gets straight up for the telling of Melania Trump's. It's like, what? What's your story? It's not. Maybe she has a very interesting story, but it's like, what? Like they are circling I'm telling you right now, they are circling the wagons as your democracy is circling the drain. We don't live in a democracy. You live in a constitutional republic. And to the republic for which it stands, that's what you live. You don't live in a democracy. Trust me. You live in a constitutional republic. Look it up. So it's like so anyway, it's like the oligarchs are they're consolidating their power. It's people better do something quick. You better do something now. You better say something now. I believe it's called techno-feudalism. You'll own nothing and you'll like it. Elon should be fired and banned from politics. He can't be fired. He was appointed. He can't be. Well, I mean, Trump would have to fire him. Would Trump fire him? Elon is a felon. I don't know if he's a felon. I know he's South African. I know he's not born in this country, and he's kind of got de facto kind of presidential powers. The Nuggets can't buy a shot. AG misses wide open three, and then MPJ shows him how to make one. Whatever. Andon, what do you got to say? Good evening, my fine gentleman. Andon's in the house.
I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. I love y'all.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
Why haven't the Nuggets fans lost trust in Malone? I don't know. But I did see this nice little story to Daniel Miller's credit. Greg Popovich has said he wants to coach again, although he will not be coming back to San Antonio. Oh, yeah, Gene Hackman died. Unforgiven. One of my favorite movies of all time, Duck Eye says. Rest in peace, Gene Hackman. Greg Popovich says he'll not return to the Spurs this season. He has a hope of coaching in the future. Now, Daniel, I can finally give you an answer to your question. If they fire Mike Malone, the only reason I'll take it is if they hire Greg Popovich, if his body can handle it. If he wants to come back and coach and he can actually, I'll take Greg Popovich. Now, that has to be a package deal, though. I need for our GM to pack his things as well. And they can all go in lieu of Greg Popovich. And then Greg Popovich will pull 3 rings minimum out of the Joker years. Minimum. He won't take shit off guys. Guys won't do the shit that we're watching. So, Daniel, this is the first time. Mark it down on your calendar. February 27, 2025. This is the first time where I'm giving you what you want. Fire Mike Malone if you can hire Greg Popovich and take Calvin Booth with him. You got it. There it is. Look at that, Daniel. If you can get Greg Popovich in town, let's read this story, and then I'll get back to y'all's comments. Greg Popovich will not coach this season. He's not ruling out a comeback in the future. Popovich met with San Antonio Spurs Thursday, releasing a statement afterward to make his decision on the season and hope for next season public. The 76-year-old Popovich, and I would still trust him at 76. It's not like hiring a president. I would still trust him at 76. He's had some kind of wacky views politically, but I don't mind that. We all have I don't mind that shit. That shit don't bother me. That's why it you know what bothers me? People who can't mix their sports in their politics. Because I'm like, bro, it's opinions on both sides. I'm not, you know what I mean? Are you good to your people that you love? Are you a good neighbor? That's the shit that matters. What your political views are, you know what I mean? Kind of inconsequential. Anyway. Now he did have a stroke. Had a stroke at the team's arena in San Antonio November 2nd and has been away from the team since. I've decided not to return to the sidelines this season, Popovich said in a statement distributed by the team. Acting coach Mitch Johnson and his staff have done a wonderful job, and the resolve and professionalism the players have shown sticking together during a challenging season has been outstanding. Popovich has been in regular contact with Johnson, some team officials, and has talked with some players at times during his absence. But he has not been seen at games or been known to be at any of the practices since the stroke happened. I will continue to focus on my health and with the hope that I can return to coaching in the future. Popovich's visit to the team came a week after the Spurs announced that All-Star center Victor Wembanyama, the Defensive Player of the Year favorite at the time, and someone who was a serious candidate to make an All-NBA team, will not play again this season because of deep vein thrombosis or a blood clot.
Bumba clot.
Was found in his right shoulder. Right shoulder. What else do we got? Wembanyama, blah, blah, blah. Pop is... see, this is the stuff I'm talking about. And now, is he going to walk away from the Spurs? Probably not. God damn. Russell Westbrook blows another layup because that's what this team specializes in. How many gimmies can you blow? Fucking hell. Finish. And sometimes I got to be honest with you, Daniel, I'm feeling you. I look at Mike Malone and he looks like a guy who's just handicapped. He doesn't have answers. He does look like that often. When you watch these games, he does look like a guy who doesn't know how to get through. He looks as frustrated as I feel. And that shouldn't be. Right? He should look like, a pillar of calm and I got this under control. At times he just looks like an extension of Denver Nugget fandom. Just, oh, nice. Just completely apoplectic. It's funny. It's funny to watch. Pop isn't just a coach or a boss. The 21-year-old Wembanyama said early this month, Pop is a leader. There are questions as to whether or not. I'll tell you why. The defensive player of the game chain. That's when I started to be like, okay, if you need gimmicks like that, talking about Mike Malone, if you need gimmicks like that, I got a question like what kind of relationship do you have with these guys? Do they just respect you as a heavy hand, which is what you need? You're talking about millionaire babies, millionaire children. No offense to anybody, but they're millionaire. Oh God damn! How many Joker assists tonight are Nuggets gonna fumble? I am in red ass mode tonight, you guys. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be a rare form night. I just don't have patience for what I'm watching. Porter Jr. travels. The guy's like he's on new legs. The Spurs have not updated Pop's rehabilitation process in some time, other than saying that he's expected to make a full recovery. The team has not revealed what, if any, issues Pop has been dealing with. Popovich agreed to a 5-year contract extension with the team in 2023. Oh, yeah, so it's done. It's one that might have him signed to be on the sideline through 27-28 season. His only public comment prior to Thursday about his health and his future in mid-December, when he said he and his family were overwhelmed by the outpouring of support we received during this time, blah, 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 Popovich, blah, blah, blah. I've been blessed, blah, blah, blah. At the end of 3, the Nuggets trail 84-81 after leading 57-54 going into the half. The game's within reach. They're just pissing me off watching. I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying watching me melt down. Let's see what you guys are talking about. They're letting AG shoot the 3, and he blows balls harder than big time. That's good. I like that. Timely. I will never trust the far right terrorist. Yeah. How much money does the guy need? Elon Musk, apparently $1 trillion. Here's a question. Why the fuck are you trying to get to Mars and we haven't even settled the moon yet? What about the moon? If you can get there, if you can get to Mars, wouldn't it be first to just put up a couple condos on the moon? Shouldn't you start there just to test market it, just to see if you could get it done? If you could really reach either Mars or the moon, wouldn't you just start colonizing the moon first? Why would you need to go to Mars? It's right there. The moon's right. It's definitely closer than Mars. So you're just going to shoot right past the moon to go colonize Mars? I don't believe you. We don't believe you. Some of us don't believe you. If they give us Michelle's story, they'll have to show her balls. There's a lot there. There's a lot to it. Nobody ever asked the question too, like, what's up with the chefs from some of these presidential families dying? The guy goes out paddleboarding and then he comes up dead. That was that. 6 feet of water. You drown. Nothing to see here. The will of none of the people becomes the will of some of the people. Democracy in action. You live in a constitutional republic, and to the republic for which it stands. I wonder how scared the far right was at the Avs game last night for Pride Night. Was that what it was last night at the Avs game? They can't. There's nothing to be scared of. Like, to each their own. Ain't nobody trying to take you home and sleep with you. Hackman and his wife. Wait, Hackman and his wife and dog. Coincidence? Yeah, I saw that, Charlie Beagle. I saw that there was that the police. Let's get to this. I saw the call in the police. I saw that the police were saying that the circumstances under which Mr. Hackman departed was spurious, to say the least. Spurious. Curious, to say the least. Yeah, in a copy of a search warrant, law enforcement reportedly called both Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa's death suspicious. This ought to be a good read. Us Weekly reports. Let's find out about it. Officials reportedly didn't see signs of carbon monoxide leak after Gene Hackman's daughter's claim. Oh, the daughter did it? Goddamn entitled Menendez type child. Is it the daughter that did it? In an affidavit obtained by TMZ, the fire department did not find any signs of carbon monoxide leak or poisoning when they completed the search. The local gas company also conducted tests on the gas lines surrounding the property, further concluding that there were, quote, no signs pertaining to an issue with the pipes. And there wasn't a gas leak either. You know what I'm saying? Gene Hackman's children believe that they know what led to the actor and wife Betsy Arakawa's deaths. Hackman's daughter Elizabeth told TMZ on Thursday, February 27, that it is likely that the Oscar winner and Arakawa suffered carbon monoxide poisoning. According to Elizabeth, she and her siblings aren't sure about the cause of death, since law enforcement officials ruled out any signs of foul play in the initial investigation. Hackman and Arakawa had been married since 1991 and are survived by his 3 children. In addition to Elizabeth, Hackman shared kids Christopher and Leslie with late ex-wife Faye Maltese, as in Falcon. On February 26, 2025, at Box 2145, Santa Fe, deputies were dispatched to an address. Hi, Gene Hackman. 90. Gene Hackman was 95? Did he need a reason to die other than old age? He was 95? Did he need a reason? I mean, 95, he got a full one out of it. 60. Oh, his wife was 64, 31 years his junior. Cow kicked his coverage. And the dog found deceased. Santa Fe County Sheriff. The Nuggets are just, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose the caboose on these idiots as they trail 83-92 to the goddamn Bucks. I'm gonna lose it. I'm going to lose it. Michael Porter Jr. Clang. Let's see what he's shooting. Oh, 4 of 18. 1 of 8 from 3. What did I tell y'all last night? If this team is going to make it out of the West, Michael Porter Jr. has to become something more than what he is. And I don't know if that's fucking possible. Yeah, I got a case of the ass tonight. Oh, there goes you know what you do is you decide to pull up from 30. The fuck? going bad, guys. It's going bad. Not bad meaning bad either, but bad meaning bad. Not bad meaning good, but bad meaning bad.
Meaning good.
It's going bad. Oh, hell no on Pop. F him and his political press conferences. I love Pop. Say what you want. Pop has the right leaning on politics. I think that Greg Popovich is a sensible man. Maybe he's had some wacky, virtue signals at times, but I don't give a shit. He can coach basketball. Pop is better than no IQ Malone for sure. And all I want him to do is coach basketball. Being far right isn't right for politics. Yeah, I mean, it all leads to fascism. So does being far left. So, when the state and business combine, which is where we're headed. I mean, when you put a businessman, when you put a technical oligarch in charge of, the fiscal policy of the nation, apparently, and he's allowed to decide what will be spent, how will be spent. And then you have Jeff Bezos cuddling up. You see all those guys, Peter Thiel and all these guys cuddling up to the state. It's like you're headed towards technocrat, you know what I'm saying. I questioned Malone back in October when he missed a game for a high school volleyball game. Glad to see Daniel finally sees what the fans think of Malone. Right. Who doesn't? But Pop doesn't know basketball. Pop knows basketball. Being against Hitler, aka Trump, is the right way of thinking. I think calling Trump Hitler is I think those things are. I think those. I'd be careful who you compare to the guy who orchestrated something in Germany that equaled a lot of people dying. You're an idiot, Daniel. 100%. Okay, calm it down. I would love for Oren to set up an MMS match so that I can put Daniel to sleep and watch him wee. MMA, maybe? Fishing it would be one punch knockout. Okay, you two, calm it down. Just calm it down. Let's see. I'm in a mood. I'm tired of the same shit said by the same douchebag every night. Never an original thought, just the same troll bullshit. Okay, you two, reel it in. Jonathan Kidd, do you have anything to add? For Pop, it's all about a love of the game. I second that emotion. I think Pop is, generally speaking, when it comes to basketball, I think Pop is what the game deserves. A guy who doesn't care that these guys are millionaires. You're going to do it my way or you're not going to. And I'm going to get it. I'm going to get you to do it my way because my way wins games. And yes, he hasn't been able to do that with a young Spurs team since losing, the core of that championship core. But I still believe that Pop goes about it the right way. I just like his basketball sensibilities. So a conservative estimate of the total government subsidies awarded to Elon's companies between 2020 and 2024 is approximately $30 to $35 billion. Apparently that wasn't enough. Interesting. I know. Between SpaceX contracts that put rockets in the sky for NASA, and then what's the link one? Then Starlink contracts that he has with the federal government in general, and whatever other quiet little defense contracts that he's been getting. Look at Jamal Murray. I can squirrel if I want to. Watching Jamal Murray play defense is, I'm gonna lose it. I'm telling you guys right now, I'm gonna lose it. This is the stream. This is the stream when I go full red ass. Dear God, thank you. Okay. That's just a verifiable fact, not getting political. There's nothing political about facts. That's the great thing about facts, Andon, is that you don't have to get political about facts. They just are. The Nuggets are getting outplayed in every facet of this game. In every facet of the game. This would be their second time on national television, and that the squad doesn't show up. Can we send no IQ fishing to the moon? You guys, you two, go get a room. Go get a room. Y'all's fight is nearly compelling as you guys telling me things that, you know what I mean? The far right Nazi terrorist party hate everything LGBTQ. We're not doing that. Listen, this is the problem. I'm going to tell you this right now. Is the ability, how quickly you understand that the people who get you all riled up like this don't believe in the party ideologies that you believe in. They don't take that shit that seriously. You do. Emotion is the opiate of the masses. So you're all worked up about what somebody else might think or what else they might be doing. Food, water, shelter. Food, water, shelter. Food, water. Anytime a politician comes to you and they want to bring you anything else, look at those guys over there. They think this is how they want to live their personal lives. And know that that person is trying to redirect your attention from how they're spending your tax dollars. Food, water, shelter. Don't tread on me. Let people live their lives inside. So it doesn't have to, like, you don't have to agree with the lifestyle. I don't personally, but it's none of my fucking business. So I don't care about, all I want is for them to have what I have. Food, water, shelter, responsible tax policy. There it is. Are you surprised by the guy who's never had an original thought? No, come on, you guys. Oh, because Jonathan Kidd's in the house.
I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. I love y'all.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
Man, here come the Nuggets. Oh, this game is one of them ones, man. This game is one of them ones. I'm just gonna scroll past some of y'all's because what are you doing? Eddie Sell in the house.
I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. I love y'all.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
Can't wait for the end of the season so they can get rid of Murray and Porter. Jokic deserves better. I agree. I think one of the things that, and I'm not, listen to you two that are banging the back and forth. First of all, Daniel, if Fishing doesn't like black people, Fishing's gonna have to take that up with him and the Lord, because I ain't going nowhere. He tunes into my, and if Fishing don't like LGBTQ plus, I don't know what to tell you. It bothers me neither nor. I don't give a shit. Fishing says, yes, I hate a part of myself. Good Lord, what an idiot. You too, get a room. Hackman left a note stating that he just couldn't watch the Nuggets anymore. All right. All right. That's good. That is good. I think this is the reason. Now, I think Pop is probably a pipe dream because he's probably very intrigued about coaching Victor Wembanyama. And so why would he come to the Nuggets? But man, if he were to walk away from basketball for a year, like, I just want to focus on my health, and San Antonio, I mean, the other part is that they didn't take off on some upward trajectory with the fill-in coach, right? So he'll probably go back there. But I just want a serious team placed around Joker. And I mean that kind of from top to bottom. I just want to get the guys who just don't seem to understand what's at stake. And maybe we're asking too much as Nuggets fans. You guys tell me, is it too much to ask for guys to look like they're professional basketball players? Like, what the fuck? Is that too much to ask? I'm not saying hit every shot. I'm saying bunny layups. Don't blow bunny layups. Run hard, like give maximum effort. Stop fucking worrying about how cool you look and put the amount of effort in that you see your best player put in. The one thing I can say about Joker that I don't understand is usually a team emulates and maybe they are emulating, because Joker is for the most part, a pretty cool customer, but his style of play is very high energy. It's smooth when he's doing it, but it's very high energy. It's very high IQ. They don't emulate that part of his game. They kind of emulate the stoic kind of, too cool for school look of his game. And if there's any one thing I could say about Joker as being the best player on this team, is that it doesn't pull the best out of the guys around him, at least with this group of knuckleheads. The best isn't pulled out of him as the Nuggets trail now 10 points, 102-92. This is amazing to watch. This is actually amazing. This was a game that was playing real close within the first half. And for the most part, you thought that the Nuggets had it in hand. And they have completely fallen apart in the tail end of the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth. They've completely fallen apart. I told y'all it was going to be. I told y'all. What does this loss do to the future? From okay, I'm kind of with fishing, Daniel. Bring some other things to the table. I'm not even joking. I'm with fishing. Bring something else to the table. Bring some analysis. The re-asking of the same question. I get where fishing is coming from. Bring something else to the table. You're not switching it up, brother. I think that's where fishing's coming from. It's not so much that that's your opinion. Just bring it to the table in a different way. I don't know. Ask it in Mandarin. You know what I mean? German. I don't know. Pull out Duolingo and at least ask it in a different. You just keep firing the same question, and you're not adding anything to the discourse. You see what I'm saying? I fuck with you, bro. I do. But you can do better. Do better. Yeah, that was genius, Charlie Beagle. Jonathan. Daniel, you don't think that. I hope you don't think that. Okay, you guys are begging. Everybody's begging on Daniel. I was begging on Daniel a little bit too. The NFL alone makes a third of that of no one has a problem. Oh, how much Elon's pulling down? Let's see. No, not contracts, actual subsidies. Free taxpayer money. Not contracts for exchange of services and goods. Free money. Oh, they're subsidizing him. Those are just small payoffs. But they are in exchange for services rendered, aren't they? He's not just being subsidized. He's a welfare baby. What percentage of the population is trans? Oh, 0.0000000. Yeah, somewhere around there. And to have that become, this was what was insidious about the Obama presidency. To have that become a frontline issue, just had to let you know that the fix was in on something else. Not to demonize that section of society, to say, if you're going to platform, so to speak, that percentage of life, what are you trying? What do you really? And we've seen what's come out since. You know what I mean? It benefited the medical industrial complex heavily, large, and it fractured our perfect union even that much more. We just had one more delineation of to argue about. And now look at our perfect union. Why haven't people in charge before Trump changed the laws so that's not okay? That's right, because those same people use those same loopholes to gain their money. Now ask yourself this. Nancy Pelosi earns $170,000 a year. She's a 100 millionaire. She's been in Congress all her professional life. Before that, she was some type of lawyer. She didn't have hundreds of millions of. How do you insider trading? You find out, and it's just kind of. And I'm serious when I say this, and I'm not afraid of these conversations. I just don't, and I get it. Other people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to accept. I'm glad that you guys can do it. You know, be nicer to each other in certain regards. But even if you're going to go back and forth, I don't give a shit. In large part, all I'm saying is it just doesn't do you any good to bury your head and think that, well, I have a place where I can, where I can hide out from the serious conversations that I need to be a part of, by the way. These are things that you don't need to stress over, I don't think. Well, yeah, stress over. I think that's a good way to say it. These aren't things but you definitely need to be a part of. Again, like tomorrow. Did you guys know that tomorrow is a national don't spend money kind of boycott day? I'll pull up the things so if you want to participate. But I'm saying if you just do that for tomorrow, you're kind of missing the plot. The point is to, take your power back now. Jonathan Kidd, no, okay, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. I'm mixed, and my best man at my wedding is blacker than midnight, so he's my complexion. But I don't need to justify myself to anyone. No, you don't. Okay. And that was good, and fishing secret identity is Clayton Bigsby. That's good. That was good, Andy. Good job. 19 free throws to 6 is wild. Yeah, they haven't been getting a kind whistle, but they haven't helped themselves either. Lot of jump shots, a lot of missed layups. Joker, can't get a call. Joker can't get a call. That's just how that's how the refs have decided how they're going to go about his career. Yeah, there's a lot of commercials in the game. Milwaukee 15-9 from the free throw line. Denver 6-6. Yeah, this is sad. Super sad. Joe Mito's in the house.
I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. I love y'all.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
Defense is optional, unfortunately. With this squad, for sure, anybody gets it up. And the thing is look what they've been limited to. This is the second highest scoring team in basketball. They've been limited to. They've been held under 100 so far, with 4:51 left in the fourth. That's not chocolate. That's doo-doo, baby. R.I.P. Michelle Trottenberg. Yeah, she did. Michelle Trottenberg, did she? R.I.P. Gene Hackman. Yeah, rest in peace, Gene Hackman. Duck Eye says. Exactly. He had to cancel. And this is what they said. Drake had to cancel his tour down under. He had to cancel his tour down under because he said there were schedule conflicts, not the fact that those tickets weren't sold out yet. He had to cancel his Australian and New Zealand tour because there were 12 days of downtime, similar to the free throws for the Milwaukee Bucks in the second half. There were 12 days of downtime. And he was like, well, I'm not going to sit around for 12 days and wait. It's like, you're rich. You got a private jet. You don't got to sit around. And why are you worried? And it's like, yeah, your career is cooked, brother. Every step he takes is a step. We're one step closer to being a Drakeless music future, a Drakeless hip hop. And I think we'd all be better for that. Murray, 18 points into the fourth quarter. That's simply not good enough. Not even close. This is why the Nugs will get bounced in the first round. Yeah, there's a couple of things. You could say, you could put that on you could put the, oh God. You could put that on Jamal. You could definitely put that on Jamal. I'm looking squarely at 2 for 10 for Aaron Gordon, 4 for 19 for Michael Porter Jr. There's your game. These two guys, because to Jamal's credit, I'm going to give credit to where credit is due. Jamal has been playing admirably, probably over the course of the last 20 games, 15, 20 games. Jamal's been really good. And as he's ascended, we've seen Aaron Gordon deal with a little bit of injury, but not really. I mean, he had 25 the other night. So, you never want to, but it's not always just about point totals. To me, it's like how you're playing the game. What is your approach? To me, it starts there. Like, what energy are you bringing to the game? And there's never a sense of urgency with Aaron Gordon. And you say, oh, he's coming back from injury, he's trying to work himself back in. Okay, all that's great, but I don't know. If you're hurt, get the fuck off the floor. And again, a combined 6 of 30, basically, between Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. is where this team is struggling tonight. Charlie Beagle, very small percentage, but kids today have been indoctrinated with. Yeah, it's called, what do they call it? Social contagion, especially in blue states where when you look at what they identify as, it's not a natural percentage. Yeah, because kids, here's the thing about kids. Jonathan Kidd, that's a great point. Here's the thing. Oh, Jonathan Kidd, here's the thing about kids. You go through those awkward stages in your teenage, your preteen years, and you don't really know what's going on with you. You know what I mean? You just feel awkward. You feel awkward about yourself. Your hormones are starting to, your hormones are starting to go this way or that way. And the last thing, and you're very prone to suggestion. We also are living in, I believe, a huge part of what we've seen happen with that is that, think about the attention that is given to anybody who comes out and says that that's what they're dealing with. They have gender dysphoria. Think about the pats on the back. You're so brave. You're so brave, right? And that's intoxicating to kids, especially in a social media environment when you see it seems like the whole world around you is getting pats on the backs for doing things. And then maybe you just don't feel all that special. So how do How do you fit yourself into the special population? Because what does it really matter anyway? And I do feel kind of squirrely inside, and I don't know but it's like, I think the last thing that you need to be told is that, like, for instance, the ridiculousness of the gender conversation, sex, gender, whatever you want. It's just ridiculous. Life has borne itself out in every biological sense, not just us, plants, animals, the whole world pretty much splits up to male, female. So to say that there's more than that is just, now there are different ways to feel, and there are different ways to interact with life. Of course, should anyone be castigated or, thrown out of society because they choose to do something alternative? Of course not. But at the same time, it's like when you start to play around the edges with obvious truths, you're destined to reap chaos as the whirlwind. That was a bad pass by Joker. You're destined to reap chaos as the whirlwind, and that's what we've reaped. And it's like, that strictly comes from a want to divide and conquer. And I think that's where we're missing it. These things aren't put out here as noble causes. These things are ideological wedges between people to get people arguing with one another. So they never look at the power and ask questions like things that Andon pointed out about. Like, why does a billionaire need $40 billion in subsidies? Subsidize your business for what? Now, I know he does a lot because he picked up SpaceX picked up a lot of the slack for NASA when it comes to us putting satellites in the sky, at least. You know what I mean? So I would imagine they're not just giving him Andon free money. You let me know if you know different. I'm pretty sure that subsidy is in exchange for some service rendered. But send me some articles or something that I can click on and read. MPJ really went back to not feeling the trade block. That could be a part of the problem. Who is this? Aldov? Welcome to the party, pal.
Hood who came out here. I love y'all.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
Good point. I just think that that's a guy. He is, to me, he is the quintessential modern day NBA ball player. There's no real want. When I read that article yesterday and he's talking about he didn't work on, he was winded after a week off. Yeah, he had a little hamstring tweak, but it's like, it wasn't anything that he couldn't have ran on, because he was saying, I probably could have worked out with my trainer. I probably could have ran a little. So obviously he wasn't on some restriction not to run. It's probably something like, yeah, work on that. And you didn't do it. I just don't think these guys take their opportunities seriously. And I know Michael Porter Jr. has been through a lot, the brothers and all the things. I get it. But God damn it, you're getting paid millions of dollars to play basketball. It's not asking too much for you to do the little things, like make sure that you're not winded after a week off. A week. We're talking about a professional athlete that he literally said out loud, I could have did more, probably should have done more, and I'm winded after a week off and 3 days not playing before that. Fuck out of here, dude. You're wasting everybody's time and Stan Kroenke and them's money. While we fight each other over stupid shit, they're stealing us blind. Exactly, Charlie Beagle. And that is the point. The whole point. Read the 48 Laws of Power. Divide, conquer. Divide, conquer. I could show you a video. Like, break down the word mortgage. Do yourself a favor. Google mortgage. Listen to the word first and foremost. Break it into two. It's a French word. Right? Mortality. Think mortician. Mortality. Gauge, which is contract. It's a death contract because it comes from the French. Because the only way that you could own land as a French citizen back in the day is if you died. Check it out yourself. Joker just fouled on a made shot and no call. I know. He's like Shaq. Joker doesn't get any calls. And I'm not even trying to be Scott Hastings with that. He doesn't get any calls. Where the hell's Murray's points, though? Everyone was all congratulatory, like he turned over a new leaf, hitting 55, and now he can't break 20. The Murray roller coaster is a rough ride. It is. You're not wrong, Andon, but again, are you going to argue against this? Andon, I'm asking you. A combined 7 of 30 between Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. Is that a Jamal Murray thing? Now he's not shooting a great percentage either. He's 8 of 20. Matter of fact, the only person who's shooting like he's ever played basketball before is our Joker, shooting 12 of 14. This guy is surrounded by unprofessional boneheads who cannot play consistent. They can't find a consistent game of their own to save their lives. And I don't think anyone is asking much of anybody to do that. Between their starters, between Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr., the Nuggets, those two guys are a combined 2 of 13 from 3. Add Christian Braun in there, that's 2 of 15 from 3. This team is full of smokers and jokers. And if I'm Nikola Jokic, I'm going to start asking for, I want guys traded out. I don't give a fuck what you got to do, or else I'm leaving. If I'm Joker, I'm getting to that level, because no one brings a consistent level of play to their game. And maybe it's like this with every team. I know it's like this with all the bad teams, but this isn't supposed to be a bad team. This is the number 2, well, tied for second in the West. And according to some people, this is a contender. But you're talking about a team that literally could lose to anyone on any given night, and it literally is due to the amount of attention they pay to detail as a squad. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. I don't do cocaine. I just like the way it smells. Great joke. I don't know who said that one, but it's a great one. AG and Porter are 6 of 29. That's the problem. Murray's shooting 50%. Tonight, that's definitely the problem. Coop's in the building.
I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. I love y'all.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
My man, Oren, I'm pretty sure you won't type Aaron the Plumber pop the balloon into YouTube search bar. I triple Goose Gossage, dare you. The famed Goose Gossage. Number 1, I've seen it. You're not bringing nothing new to the table. I like it, Coop. Give me another one, because I've seen that. And he's gone. Have you seen lately? He's gone even further down. He's gone even further down the rabbit hole. He's turned that little pop the balloon start. He's turned that into a whole YouTube kind of fame career, and he's melting down constantly. Murray is not resilient. Is not as resilient on Jokic. Well, I don't think any of these guys are. I literally think that Joker has the misfortune of being surrounded by the most inconsistent group of fellow starters, with the exception of Christian Braun, and tonight's an off night for Christian Braun, so that really sucks. And Christian Braun's 50% from the field, basically. He hasn't hit his threes, but he's got 10 rebounds. Like, Christian Braun's played a pretty good game. Russell Westbrook, 4 of 13. When you just look and you're just like, okay. And this isn't being, I don't think you have to be a crazed fan to make this assessment. And this doesn't have to be a Michael Malone thing either. This team has, or these particular guys that I told you tonight I have a red ass tonight. This particular group of guys that are surrounded by Joker. Like, if you're Nikola Jokic, which of these guys do you look at and you go, I know he'll be there tonight. I know he'll be up for the task tonight. Which of these guys? Which of these guys do you think Joker can look at and say, I can count on a championship level contribution from this guy? Look, that even like how many dimes have his counterparts blown tonight? But I am not dismissing AG and MPJ, not at all. They shit the bed from pillowcase to the frame tonight as well. Yeah, for sure. There's no dismissing it. I think you just like to bang on Jamal because you got a thing for banging on Jamal. This game's over, boys. That'd be their second game. So tell me when. Tell me when. That's a foul. Tell me when you push the button and say, this ain't a Western time. This is not a Western Conference champion. Tell me when. AG is missing wide open threes. They're literally giving him the shot, and he couldn't hit the ocean with a beach ball. Yeah. Eddie Sell.
I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. I love y'all.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
Well, it's obvious they've never been all-stars. Yeah, but you don't have to be an all-star to be a consistent contributor on the court. Like, I think because there's only so many all-star positions that can. How many Oklahoma City Thunder players weren't all-stars? Now, I'm not saying all those guys are better than every guy on the Nuggets, but they definitely play like it. And they're definitely playing like it. And yeah, maybe that's this year. Okay, fine. But at the end of the day, you just got, I mean, like, y'all like to make concessions where I'm just not willing to, because I'm just like, what's the one thing you hear about professional sports in every league? These are the best players in the world. So I don't even need you to play like the second coming of Wilt Chamberlain or Michael Jordan or Clyde Drexler, or I just need you to hit a wide open jumper like a professional is supposed to, because me and y'all and Daniel, who I think Daniel, come back, bro. Don't be mad. I think Daniel probably went away because Daniel, there's something more you can bring. You know, I think we can all agree. You asked that question well, but you ask it every show. And it's just kind of like, you can do that differently. You can do that better. I believe that there's more in you. Don't be Aaron Gordon. Don't be Aaron Gordon. Be better. Anyway, we all believe that there's if you are classified as one of the best players in basketball, I just don't think it's too much to ask for consistent effort. And that's the one thing that I don't see from this squad. I think where they lose it most is not even in their inability to hit open shots. It's their inability to show up every night and you just know what you're going to get. You just know the effort you're going to get because this guy can be counted on for that. Lou Dort, like when you go up and down the Oklahoma City roster, there's a reason why that team is playing well and they're in first place. And it's not just because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is leading the league in scoring. Those guys show up, and night in, night out, their coach can count on what they're going to get. Can Mike Malone say that about his players? No, it's a roller coaster ride with everybody, including the rookies. I don't know what I'm going to get out of Aaron Gordon tonight. Maybe Aaron Gordon's feeling like being, playing like a guy who I can trust tonight. Maybe he's going to play like a complete dimwit. Maybe Michael Porter Jr. is going to be aggressive and actually, press the issue around the basket. Maybe he's going to settle for this three-pointer that you guys have all convinced him is the most beautiful thing since Ray Allen's. The worst thing that could have ever happened to Michael Porter Jr. was somebody to congratulate him on his jump shot. That should be it for Giannis. What should be it? Fishing. CB just posted. Yeah, I saw it. The more society talks about an issue, the more kids emulate it. I agree with this. And feel a need to be a part of it. Don't believe me? The 80s, Karate Kids, strip malls and karate schools were packed for 2 decades. I agree. Kids are impressionable. They're learning about the world. And it's our job, it's our job. It's our job as the adults in the room to shape a world that they can come into and just be free to form their own opinions about things. Nuggets lose. Ball game. I kind of want to look right at you, Fishing. How you feel after this loss? How do you feel after this loss? I kind of want to look at you because you're the one who's always defending this team. Relax. It's fine. Relax. You guys are tripping. Relax. And now I want to ask you, Fishing. Now what do you say? No, they didn't. Let's see. Greg, Grass Valley Greg's announced.
I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. I love y'all.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
That was hard, huh? That was a hard one to watch, Grass Valley Greg. What's up, brother? That was a hard one to watch. That was a hard one to swallow. Andon says, so we the taxpayer just give it to him, but we will decide to stop SNAP and school lunch program. Well, we're not deciding anything. What happened to us, this is what happens. What happened is a section of society who, by the way, had been abandoned by the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party always supported workers and strong unions. That was, quote unquote, the party of. But again, I have come to the realization, as I hope you and everyone does soon, this duopoly, Democrat and Republican, is the first division that we were sold that has everybody lined up in different silos and targeting one another, that is meant to fracture and not take care of your true needs. I always make this analogy, and I think it's the most perfect one, because I was in legal trouble before. I have had to go to court and be defended by the public defender. And the most dismaying thing to see for me as a young, impressionable, a 22-year-old man was, I didn't have the money for a lawyer, was for me to see my lawyer walk down the hall with the district attorney that was trying to get numbers out of my ass. And they're just laughing and yucking it up. Just laughing it up, fuzzball. And then my public defender came to me and said, yeah, this is the time that I was able to negotiate for you. And I'm like, I don't want to do no time. Ain't you supposed to be fighting for no time? Because they horse trade your lives, because the public defender and the district attorney both work for who? The state. Democrat and Republican both work for the 1%, the state. And so you line up as a Democrat or as a Republican, and you look across the aisle and you go, those goddamn Democrats, goddamn liberals with their, LGBTQ plus, and the Democrats are like, goddamn conservatives with their Jesus and whatnot, whatever. And you can't stand one another. And they love it that way. So what happened in this election was everybody thought that the good guys now were on the other side, because before the good guys were on the other side, right? Everybody in the blue team thought that the other guys were the bad guys, and they were the good guys. And then they got their good guys in office, and their good guys did shit. They tanked the economy. That's what Biden and them did. And then this election cycle, everybody runs to the other side of the boat, and they're like, well, those must be the good guys. And so they run, and they're like, he'll save us, because we're always looking for one savior. No one wants to start at home. It's too easy to go pick a guy and say, you do it, Trump, or you do it, Obama, or you do it, Joe Biden, or you do it, Kamala Harris, or you do it. You save it. It's our job. We the people. It's our job to save this republic. Anyway, so now they ran to the other side of the boat and they voted for this guy. And he was like, sweet. Open the floodgates, and executive order, executive order, executive order, executive order, executive order. And then SNAP goes away. And then, they're defunding school. But that was always like, and then you have to look at the economy. There's a whole bunch of shit to it. You got to look at the economy. You got to ask yourself, if the US dollar, look this up yourself, is worth 2 cents, and it is. 2020 was worth 50 cents. Now it's worth 2 cents. And that was coming into this election. If the US dollar is worth 2 cents, I mean, that's peso levels. If the US dollar is worth 2 cents, that's where inflation comes from. A dollar buys less. It feels like a dollar only buys what 2 cents used to buy, doesn't it? Well, what does that tell you about the condition, the state of our union? And so the window dressing is a president will come in and change the fortunes. How are we doing economically? And some of the things, if they would not just be trying to cash out themselves, at a certain point in time, you do got to slash spending. You know what I mean? You can't have, I'll ask you, if you were operating in a deficit, that means your bank account is in the negative. Could you continue to spend hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars? No, you could not. Now imagine being at a deficit and spending trillions of dollars. That doesn't work, right? So there has to be some slash in spending. That has to happen. That's only fiscally responsible. But if the slash in spending is only so you can just redirect that money, it's not really slashing spending. You're just redirecting the money into billionaires' pockets, which seems like that's what's happening. Well, then I guess it's eventually we'll get it, and the people will come together and go, okay, I don't really like your LGBTQ plus stuff. Yeah, well, I don't like your Christian stuff or whatever. It's like, that's okay, because you do what you do in your house, and I do what I do in my house. You know what we should do? And then the people look at the people in charge, and then shit gets handled like it does in other countries. But that takes a willingness to put yourself at a risk. And at times, I question our resolve as a people. I do. I question our resolve, not them. I know what their goal is. I question our resolve as people. Do we have in us what our grandparents and greater generations had in them when they were willing to go out in mass, make themselves very uncomfortable, whether getting hosed, getting, if it's black people getting sprayed down with fire hoses and attacked by dogs and they're fighting for what they believed in, or the Vietnam generation that protested war, or do we have that in us? When you look at the world that's on TV and you see in other countries where people en masse, you know what I mean? Like what's happening in Europe, hundreds of thousands of people in the streets. Do we have that in us as cushied Americans? That's the question you need to ask yourself. It's not really their problem anymore. We know what they do. The question is what are we going to do? Okay. These are layers. Let's see. I dare you to YouTube Something Wong reporter. You won't. I'll do it. Don't dare y'all. Don't dare me. Y'all should know. Y'all should already know. I'm sorry I'm getting to these a little later than y'all should already know. I'm not the one to be dared because I'll do it. You know I'll do it. I argue with people for hours. I tell them you are in debt when you sign the mortgage papers. Yep. You don't owe anything. You don't own anything because you pay HOA and property taxes for life. You don't pay, they'll take it away. I'll show you the I just watched a great video, Coop, that was sort of breaking down what a mortgage is. And it's like, we've been bamboozled, folks. And that's okay. It's no reason to panic. It's just it's just time to do something. Quite honest, it's just time to do something. Okay, they already lost, so I'm way behind you guys. I just want to make sure I give everybody their just due. It's not that they beat the Pacers because they were coming back from back. Wait, let me see. It's not. They beat the Pacers because they were coming off back. I think they're a better team than the Pacers. I think that this team is just always going to struggle with, and don't get it confused. The Pacers have a great record, but I just don't think that they're a team that's ready yet. It's just more indicative of what's going on in the East. I think they're just going to always struggle with the better teams because the better teams play with a sense of urgency and professionalism that I just don't think our better players or our starters are able to muster. I just don't. We got one guy who's going to bring, what you're going to get night in and night out. For the most part, you know what you're going to get from Joker. Everybody else, it's a flip of the fucking coin. Everything is complicated, but it's simple to say. We as a nation can't help kids get school lunches for a couple million by giving Elon a little less billions. And books too. On that point, everyone in here, go support David Bruton's book initiative. Bruton's books. It's a great cause. David Bruton, former Bronco, right? Dr. David Bruton. This country is in debt and the citizens follow suit. Debt-free is the only way to go. You don't need a house to make it in the world. Coop, we need to talk offline. I'm in a terrible mood after catching the last quarter of this game. Sorry if I'm coming off as salty. There is no reason to be sorry. I don't need y'all to come in here and fake it with me. KC Max in the house.
I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. I love y'all.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
Maybe we should have traded for Zach. You definitely got a guy who's going to score the ball every night. When we had a chance, MPJ is going back to his former self, Clank Porter Jr. I just think I'm asking y'all, when have you ever seen a consistent 30 games from Michael Porter Jr.? When has he had a stretch of games? He's always available. It's just up and down what you're going to get. 5 games, he plays great. 7 games, he's shit. 2 games, he's great. 1 game, he's shit. 5 games, he's good. Okay. 2 games, he's shit. 4 games, he's shit. It's just like, what the hell? Like, are you okay? You almost want to ask him, like, bro, are you good? I'm pissed a little tonight. Like I've said before, I want AG coming off the bench. He's a liability at this point. MPJ was awful and Russ as well. That was the difference. Murray and Joker played their game and had 0 support. Yeah, I think tonight, I think you kind of got what you were going to get out of it. I just don't have a problem with, I had a problem more with Jamal's defense than I did his offensive output. Just looking, I want to catch up and then we'll look at some numbers. Let's see. Hard to watch. Gordon, Porter, Westbrook shooting. Yeah. Giannis out-rebounded Joker. Wasn't good either. Can't stand Malone's rotation. That's what'll cost them. Again, like I've stated. No, you've been like, everybody calm down. What are you tripping about, Bert? No, don't you try that switch up. Dems are slimy liars and Repubs are crazy liars. The whole thing is messed up. Until we have campaign finance reform, we cannot have a debate about actual issues. Campaign finance reform, 1, 2, just another party, just another choice. Could you imagine going to a restaurant and they're like, you can have whatever you want? Hamburger or cheeseburger. And it's like, oh, so then I can't have whatever I want. It's like, yeah, no, hamburgers and cheeseburgers. Well, hopefully, if you don't want a hamburger or a cheeseburger, you leave the restaurant and you don't just force yourself to keep eating hamburgers and cheeseburgers. Hopefully. Campaign finance reform would be great. Term limits would be great. You know, these guys making it, you know, a lifelong position. Strom Thurmond died a senator. I don't know. He was 60 years in the Senate or some shit like that at 80, whatever, or 100, whatever he was. Nancy Pelosi, they're just in there and they're becoming millionaires while doing so, 100 millionaires while doing so on a public salary. And you're like, how are you getting that? And it's like, oh, because her husband can trade. She's not doing the trading. He's doing the trading. It's like, okay, you know, tomato. I think we all know what's going on there, right? It's literally Crossfire, LOL. Remember that stupid show? I do remember Crossfire. Rough game. Daniel Flores.
I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. I love y'all.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
That's a great reference, wasn't it, Andon? That was a great reference. If you had a case in the ass, you're welcome to vent it here. You guys want the phone number? If I open the phone lines, will you guys call in and give your opinions? If I open up the phones, let me know. Throw ones in the chat if I open up the phone and you want to call. That way I don't have to try and catch up with your text. I dared you to play a YouTube video and you skipped over it. I know Triple Dog dare you to something wrong. No, I saw it. I was trying to catch up because I was losing my shit. Don't do it, Oren. If you do, I'll be my opinions. You don't want that tonight. Okay, well, something wrong reporter is coming up. Jimmy Carter had to give up his peanut farm, but this guy gets to do anything he wants. Yeah, I think if you got to look into presidencies, man. They sell you a dream, man. They sell you these really quiet dudes. But if you look at some of the things that they like, one of the things like NAFTA. What did Steph do tonight? NAFTA, the great emancipator, Bill Clinton. You know where work and workers' rights and the ability for unions and the American worker to have leverage. You know when it went down the drain? When Bill Clinton signed that North American Free Trade Act. That's why businesses were able to just leave the United States in search of cheaper work, right? And quite honest, oh God, Steph went nuclear tonight, huh? Because capitalism as a system has one driving goal, and that is for the consolidation of power amongst the few, and power that being resources. It's not even really money. Money's not as real as the things that it buys, right? Well, how real could money be if the Fed can just press a button and create trillions of dollars? What? You can do that? I wish I could do that. Don't we all wish we could do that? I told y'all, here comes Golden State. What did I say? I told you. Here comes Golden State. I should go throw a bet down. Iggy D's in the house.
I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. I love y'all.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
The money printing actually started under George Bush in the war on terrorism. They made it seem acceptable, and Democrats ran with it after that. Trump's likes to spend too. The money printing started when, I believe, don't hold me to this, I believe the money printing started when, what's the guy who preceded Gerald Ford who got impeached? It's just his name is escaping me. I am not a crook. When he took us off the gold standard, that's when the money printing started. What was that guy's name? Why am I forgetting that guy? I am not a crook. That guy. When he took us off the gold standard in 1972, the year of my birth, that's when the money printing started. Because the gold standard was you could only have as much money as you had gold. Basically, the worth of your gold reserves was the amount of money that you could borrow against or have. And so when you took us off the gold standard, that's why it's funny when they were talking about, we want to go and audit Fort Knox and see how much gold. There is no gold in Fort Knox. That's always been the thing, right? And when Dick, what is that guy's name? Why is his name escaping me? When he took us off the gold standard, that's when the money printing started, quite honestly. What's his name? What's the guy's name? I am not Nixon. There he is. Richard. Yeah. Richard Nixon. When that guy, when Nixon took us off the gold standard, that's when the money printing started, because there was, okay, ones, you guys want it? Okay, I'm gonna put the phone number in. My bad. I was trying to catch up to you guys. I was trying to catch up. So I'm going to throw the phone number in here. Feel free to call. Hopefully, you know, we can have some good conversation. I am very interested to hear y'all's voices. It's always hard trying to just keep up with your text. Give me 2 seconds. Well, how about this? We'll do it different. I'm just going to make sure that you guys can be here with me. So I was going to do I'll do the phone number. I'll do the phone number. And if the phone lines don't do us right, then I'll put a link up and you guys can come in facially. You don't even have to be on screen if you don't. I know some of you guys are facially challenged. Kidding. All right, here's the phone number. 271. Oh, wait, I could just put up a banner. Sorry, you guys. Sorry. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to throw up a quick banner. Create banner. Call. 0. Okay. Add banner. Boom. There you go. So if you guys want to call, go ahead and hit me up, and then we'll chop it up. Yeah, when NUGGS took us off the gold standard, then the money printing just it just started going ham bone. Mama Joe Hambrick with it. And all fiscal responsibility went right out of the window. All fiscal responsibility went right out of the window. And again, it's like you and me. Could you do that? You know, they call that counterfeiting. If I were to do it and just print money, and just like, did you ever hear when the guy from the Fed said there is an infinite amount of money in the Federal Reserve? Watch this. This will be it. There's nothing to see here in this game, right? You guys want to go over the numbers real quick? Let's go over the numbers. Nuggets lose 121 to 112, falling to now 38 and 21. Don't look now. Here come those. I told y'all. I told you. Aaron Gordon scores 9. God damn. 4 of 13 from the field. Michael Porter Jr., 5 of 22. 2 of 11 from 3 for 12 points. He did have 10 rebounds. He was a minus 20 in the game. Joker, just doing Joker things. Scores 32, 14 rebounds, 10 assists, another triple-double. What they're going to start doing is making his numbers look like he's stat padding and look like he's just, you know what I mean? That's what's going to be the residual effect of this team's ineptitude to really back him up effectively. And it's pissing me off. Not going to lie. It's twisting my tits. Not going to lie. It's twisting my tits. Pissing me off. Jamal Murray, 9 of 20. Not a great night. 20 points. Ineffectual. Joker did have 5 turnovers, by the way. But if you saw, I think he was trying to force the issue to get the ball to his guys. I wish drop passes. I wish dropped assists like drop passes were a stat that they keep. Christian Brown, 5 of 11. It looked like he had a good game. Christian Brown he wasn't bad tonight, but he had 10 rebounds. He kind of set the tone, I think, for missed layups. He missed 2 early. Zeke Naji, 101 from the field, 2 points. The minutes that I did see Zeke on the floor, though, I've been really happy with just kind of his engagement. Didn't get a lot out of him tonight. I think Mike Malone went away with him in lieu of, Russell Westbrook's 4 of 13 performance. Julian Strawther, 12 points, 5 of 8 from the field. In all, I think what we saw was that when the wheels came off, there was no one else who had any answers outside of Joker. That is my unprofessional assessment of how this game got the fuck away from them. Nobody else brought a legit answer to the table. And this team now has I think this team has some serious questions to ask itself as to what are you going to do about Russell Westbrook? I still love everything he brings to the table. I just don't like him coming off the bench. I think that, and Mike Malone looks like a deer caught in headlights. Like he's too scared to do something bold. He's too scared or too gun shy to do something bold, which would be, you know what? I'm gonna try my best to shake things up and send somebody to the bench. Let's see. Strom Thurmond was 100. Okay, yeah. I got a book. God Bless the Children, or wait, is it? Anyway, it's about this kid named Willie Bosket, and it turned out that his family had been owned by Strom Thurmond's progenitor. And it's just interesting how Strom Thurmond's great grandfather, I want to say, or his grandfather, got their first family seat by virtue of duel and killing his competition. He shot him. Westbrook was off to such a great start. MPJ cost us his game, though. One of the worst nights he's had in a long time. I just think the same thing. Can we all just get along? We can, Eddie. We can. Nuggets failed to test tonight, man. The post game, they're saying this is why it's hard to play against Giannis. This happens. Got to get up for these games, or we as fans don't have confidence in you. Yeah, I think in general, it's like at some point in time, if you want to be a champion, you're going to have to play against and beat the best. And that means you're going to have to bring effort worthy of beating the best. Giannis, Luka, whoever, right? And if you can't do that in the regular season, there's no reason for me to believe that it's going to be something that you just flip a switch during the postseason. I don't know why would I think that? Every instant they've had to sort of step up in a big moment, and to me, they've blown it. When you buy a BMW or an Audi, it's free advertising for those companies. Plus, you are in debt. You don't buy those cars, you buy the stocks and get other people to go into debt. Damn. My G. My guy. I fuck with it. I'd buy a BMW, though. Those are nice. Yeah, Audis. I had one. I get the gold standard, but George Bush almost doubled our national debt. Yeah, what was crazy is, quote unquote, Bill Clinton dug us out and had us with a surplus. When he left office, there was actually a surplus. And then Junior got in, and they promptly cracked that motherfucker open, and that was gone in months. They sent out rebate checks to, I think everybody got like a $600 rebate, and the rest got funneled upstream. I cashed into my neighborhood BMW. Cashed or crashed? Damn ice. Cars depreciate as soon as you drive them off the lot. You spend a lot of money on a car, just know $5,000 knocked off that hole as soon as you drive it off the lot. We live in a consumer society. We are encouraged to buy. But what does all that buying actually get you? That's because I drive like a maniac. Do you drive like a maniac? By the way, I would have your leg chopped off. I got you. You wouldn't have his leg chopped off? All right. My parents had a car they were trying to sell, and someone left a phone number on the windshield. They called it, and it was dial-a-prayer. Are you? Tell me more, Charlie Beagle. It turned out it was some friends of theirs just busting the. That's good. I love cars and could go on and on about all the supercars, but I've only owned 2 cars in 24 years. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's nice to have. It's nice, you know what I mean? Like your dream car. I want an Aston Martin DBX. You just have to understand what, you know, unless it's a collector's car, or you use the car to make yourself money. It's just a depreciating. It's not even that. It's an asset, but it's not that time. You didn't answer, Oren. Damn. Got ghosted. Wait, you called? I didn't get a call. Hold on. Sorry. I did not mean that. I don't know why that didn't come through, Andon. Hold on, bud. Oh, I know why. Hold on, you guys. Sorry. I had it call forwarding on. Hold on 1 second. You guys have been calling. My bad, fellas. My bad, fellas. Hold on. I had the call forwarding on. Oren, you scamp. Sorry, guys. If you choose to, I understand if you feel burnt. If that grinds your gears and you're burnt about it, and you're like, no, Oren, I'm never going to call you again. I get it. Let's see. Call screening off. Anonymous call D. Sorry about that, guys. I apologize. I apologize for that. I am so sorry about that. If you choose to call back, I apologize. Gentlemen. If you choose to call back, the phone line should be open now. Ask Ric Flair. So as Ric Flair so eloquently said, if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. Exactly. Fuck, man. Sucks. Joker needs a second guy. Yeah. I mean, it is so apparent. It's so obvious. And what sucks. No, it's 330. It is 330. Sorry. It is 330. That is a Ohio number. I was wondering too. Google. It's Google phone line. Mike Malone in trouble.
I want to thank the whole hood who came out here. I love y'all.
Big Daniel Flores.
Every day in my hood, I bang. I'm a nice worker.
What? Wait, hold on. 271 0234. That's the number that's up there, you guys. God, am I blowing it? Oh, God. Oren, you idiot. Oh, God. I blew it. Sorry. Let's try this one more time. You guys are probably so pissed to be like, this fucking idiot. Like, what the hell, Oren? Hold on, gentlemen. If you're still open to it, I'm getting it right. I'm fixing it as we speak. I'm fixing it as we speak. I'm fixing it as we speak. Sorry. and then called some guy, and the guy's like, what the fuck is wrong? Is your goddamn problem? Andon's like, my buddy told me to call, and I'm so sorry about that. There it is. Oh, Jesus Christ. Joke's on you, Jack. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, I still believe in this team. Iggy D says, I think it will come together by the playoffs, but if they don't get to the finals, Malone will get fired and they'll probably go break this team up. Yeah, I'll tell you why I don't agree with that. It is an Ohio number. Is that at LeBron's house? No, I'm not at LeBron's house. You guys are great. You guys put up with my bullshit. I was like, oh, I'll fix it. I just didn't have the call waiting on. The truth of the matter is, I didn't even give you the right phone number. Oh, Jesus Christ, Oren. Oh, it's not senility. It's not a tumor. Call screening's off. Let me just make sure. Call screening, incoming call options. Record. I don't need all that. Default, blah, blah, blah. Default account to Google Voice. Got that. Show my Google Voice number. I should just put up the goddamn invite. Oh, this is much easier. This is so much easier. Fuck this. This is so much easier. I should have just did this off top. If you don't call, do this. Okay? If you don't call, do this. If you choose to still be involved. I'm so sorry. To everybody involved, I apologize. I did not mean to give you spurious information. Click that StreamYard link. It'll pop you in here, and then you can just sit here and chop it up with me through StreamYard. Okay? I apologize, gentlemen. I apologize. I'm forming a committee that will be called DOPE, Department of Podcast Efficiency. It's will roll. Well, you'd have to call it dose because this is a stream. Okay, Andon G. There's my guy. What's up, Andon? Hey, buddy. How are you, man? Andon, there you go.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, buddy. How are you? Andon, where are we going with this, man? Let's start with the Nuggets. Because you and I feel the same. You and I feel the same about a couple of things.
Yeah,
so,
you know, Fishing and I, we play a lot of Call of Duty together, and he's always sticking up for Jamal and everybody else. At the end of the day, you can't help but think this is if everybody collapses like this, you got to point the finger at coaching,
without question.
I mean, and I have to deny it because that's the part that really hurts about the whole thing. To look at the whole situation and go, this falls on the coach's shoulders. When you've got talent like MPJ, you've got talent like AG, who can't break 10, break the teens, get into the 20s consistently every single night, what else is going on?
Yeah. I think the problem I have with hanging this on Michael Malone is that is it Mike Malone's job to get MPJ? Like, where is a professional, an NBA coach? Is it Mike Malone's job to get MPJ to realize where his best fortunes lie night in, night out in the game? Is that Michael Malone's job?
Right.
You know what I mean? We could say the same thing for Jamal. Is it I know Mike Malone's going to draw up plays, but is it his job to stress to Jamal that you're best when the ball is moving? This team works best when we're working through Joker. I think at a certain point in time, we're blaming the coach, but I don't know. Those are my only questions.
It's really difficult because you say, and I think this is a generational thing. This taps back into what we were talking about when we say the young players nowadays don't have that fire for greatness. They don't want to be champions. Like,
right.
And this is where this kind of trying to wrap our heads around how these young players think. You say to yourself, it's not on the coach because these are pros. The whole premise argument that you're making relies on that truth being fundamental.
Right.
And I think what I'm coming to realize is that these kids are kids.
Yeah.
Like way more immature than we ever wanted to give them credit for, to the point where I can't believe I'm about to say this, to the point where a professional level coach has to approach his players as if they were in college or high school.
It's crazy. By the way, if anybody else wants to hop in, we can fit at least 3 of us up here on stream. I think we can have 4 of us. So if anybody else wants to hit the link and jump in here. I like that, Andon, because I just saw a thing. Charles Barkley said that he thought, here, let me play this for you guys. Charles Barkley said that he thought, I don't want to speak for him, so hold on, let me grab this. Charles Barkley said he thought that NIL was bad because these players, are getting. Oh, here, let me let him speak for himself. I'm not going to say it for him better than he could say it for himself. Hold on one second. And I thought this point was instrumental because I'm like, I think you're right, Andon, that what's ended up happening. Okay, I guess it's the tweet itself isn't going to come up, but you guys will be able to see it. Charles Barkley thinks NIL, Barkley visiting, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm just going to read it. I think we got to have a talk about college basketball. I don't think the model of NIL is sustainable. I want these kids to get whatever they can get, but asking colleges to come up with $20-30 million per year, especially some smaller schools, I don't think it's a sustainable model. I love these kids. I want them to do well, but you've got to understand, most of these kids get a free education, which what the fuck does that mean anymore? Which is by far and away the most important thing. Is it when the college graduation rate is here, but the acquisition of gainful employment in your area of study is way down here? Because of one of the great travesties of this country is what we charge these kids to go to college. We need to find a way, blah, blah, blah. And his point was that in the first place that my mind went, Andon, was if the NBA could subsidize some of this NIL money, if the professional leagues could subsidize some of this NIL, at least it would fix it would fix the NFL. I think it would fix the NBA, because then if you could pay these guys, because it's just less players on a college basketball roster, right? If you can pay these guys adequately to where there's no incentive for them to run to the NBA, then they get the spacing, setting picks, approaching the job from that sort of professional learning the game angle that they end up not coming into the pros with. You know what I'm saying when I'm saying that? Is that square?
I do, but Aaron Gordon blows that theory out of the water because he did a great job as a young player last year. The year before he played lights out. Last year it slumped a little. This year it's slumping more. You know, we're seeing a trend in that locker room amongst these players. Now, is it the Nuggets locker room itself? Is it Malone or is this a trend league wide? But I want to bring something up that just occurred to me. I had to take a note of it before I get, back to this, that you can hear the lack of enthusiasm in that locker room during the season. They would have the camera, like the post-game stuff go on in the locker room. Everybody in here, come on guys, family on three. They go, 1, 2, 3, family.
Really?
It's like, you guys just won. And that's how happy you are? That's the type of unity you have?
Especially for a team that's won a chip. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that whole situation just felt forced. Like the locker room's lost all of its chemistry. And I don't know where you point the finger, but if there's a head that's going to roll, it'll be Malone's.
Yeah, I mean, and the truth of the matter is with every inconsistent performance that Michael Porter Jr. has, his trade value just tanks. Same thing with Jamal Murray. With every year, we got to watch him wait until after the break or just before the break to where he's gotten himself into game shape. It's just like those are two untradeable contracts. So the only thing you can do really, because look what JB Bickerstaff's been able to do with the Detroit Pistons roster that's pretty much the same as it was before he got there, but he was able to bring something that he had brought from Cleveland there and get value out of what they got there. And I just don't think – I do think this. I think you're right in this. There's something about Mike Malone's approach that does not encourage growth from his young players and consistent output from his roster outside of Joker. He can't get a consistent night out of any one of these guys except for Joker.
And this may be going back to when you were talking about JJ Redick. He may just be that phenom coach that speaks young kid to the rest of his players. He may be that guy. And, Fission's in here saying it's on a coach to put his player in the best position to succeed. The player still has to produce, but that couldn't be more true, right? But there's this extra X factor with the young players in this generation that we're not taking into account, which is how they feel. How can you motivate them, get them emotionally invested, and visualize the game? And again, I hate to beat on this, but it's stuck with me so hard. Life outside of basketball.
Right.
Every comment section I say this, because what that means is you don't think about this game as a professional all day, every day. You're not visualizing it. You're not dedicated to it. You're not committed to it. The greats do that.
Yeah.
And I will. And the other thing, though, I want to blame more of this on Malone, and I'm not trying to be Daniel Miller here, but he's the one who said we had a dynasty. He's the one who said the goal is dynasty. Now, he was pretty drunk when he said that, but
he was hammered. He was shocked.
But we want to believe.
Well, here's the other part of it. I think what it comes down to with Mike Malone is at a certain point in time, I think they say with every coach, the message dies. The message dies and grows old with the guys. And I think if there's anything that can be said about Malone, because it's like that defensive player of the year chain, I'll be honest with you, bro. Could you see like Phil Jackson or Greg Popovich, Pat Riley, Rudy Tombano, you know, like guys that you respected who sat in the seat. I don't know what the worth is. You know, Steve Kerr, I don't know what the worth is of a championship coach, because everybody will say the same thing. Championship coaches win championships because they have great players. This is always going to be true. But there is something that they bring to the table. Maybe it's not always X's and O's. Maybe it's the way that they approach their relationship with their players. And it just seems like Michael Malone, the moment of coaching a dynasty, because the roster hasn't changed. You mean to tell me that losing Jeff Green and Bruce Brown and KCP that affected this team that much? Like, your youngest core is still there, and this team is almost unrecognizable from the championship season and even for the majority of last season until they got into the playoffs. It's almost unrecognizable.
There are a ton of blind spots that we as fans have no idea what goes on in the background that affect these players emotionally. And to Iggy D's point, how they feel, that's some Gen Z shit right there, blah, 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 but they're making 20, 30 million. But Iggy, this is exactly the paradox here. And this is the conversation going on amongst all NFL, old school NFL fans across the board, the Charles Barkleys of the world, even
NBA, but I knew what you meant. You said,
you know, like, yeah, this generation doesn't have the fire, no matter how much they get paid.
Well, you heard like when their greatest players, like when Kevin Durant, who I love, but he seems like a very fragile, emotional player. When he says things like, you know, the fans don't appreciate anything. The fans are you know, they don't appreciate anything. It's like, bro, under y'all's watch, the LeBron James, Kevin Durant era. Well, LeBron James, the beginning, Kevin Durant, you know, Steph Curry area. We've seen the product on the court. I'm not talking about the players off the court getting into trouble. I don't give a shit about any of that, to be quite honest with you. The product on the court progressively has gotten worse statistically year after year. And when guys are looking at, we keep saying kids. They're not kids, but they are. They're grown-ass men who have millions of dollars, and they have no allegiance towards the game that has afforded them that living. They have no allegiance towards the way that it is represented they think that that we're all here for them.
They don't look at it as a privilege.
No, they do not. They do not. It is a right that they, you know, and I'll say this, Andon. I don't know how you could get this, because I think a strike, like the owners would have to institute a strike to sort of put financial constraints back in place. I don't think you can fix what's wrong with the NBA without somehow putting the toothpaste back in the tube when it comes to these guaranteed contracts. I just don't think you can fix it. I think that not only is the horse out of the barn, there's no incentive to put it back, because the amount of money that's being generated by the sport itself isn't going down.
Well, I think that there's a simple solution to this, which is put a cap on the amount of trades and well, I don't know how to really articulate this, but we noticed that in the post 2005 to now era, the last 20 years, that we simply don't have repeat champions.
Right.
And that has a lot to do with, once you win a chip, half of your players are going looking for the payday somewhere else.
Sure.
Regulate that and watch things change slightly over time. You know, and that's really hard to say, because then you're peeking into everybody's pocketbooks. But the idea is keep these championship teams a little tighter longer, so that it's not just that there's parity now, it's that it's just that there's bad product everywhere. It's like there's so much in the way of entropy of players to every single team across the board that, I mean, look at the Mavericks. Doncic just leaves in the middle of the night to the Lakers. That's nuts. And they didn't even win a chip. You know, go back to Green, Brown, KCP, all leaving the Nuggets. And all of a sudden you're eroding the overall product. You're not keeping the dynasties together. Therefore, you have no rivalries, and the rivalries are why the fans show up.
Yeah, no, I take exception to that only because
I'm not saying that's the answer.
Fantasy ruined the rivalry. Like some of these things are fed from the outside in. Fantasy football and gambling ruined the rivalry, sort of respect and disdain for the other side from a fan's point of view. Wouldn't you say? It's like, once I can make money or have interest with my fantasy basketball team picking up guys, I'm going to pick up a Laker and I'm a Nuggets fan because it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I think it's the same thing as all these guys having each other's cell phone numbers and being on each other's and being on each other's podcasts. There's just a lack of, they don't look at it how our generations looked at it. And I'm even okay with that. I just don't like how the game has somehow bred out the competitive nature to, one, be a professional while earning millions of dollars. I don't know how you get that back if you don't just say, well, guess what? Now there's no millions of dollars. Not to say that you take the money away from the guys like you can't earn. I'm saying that this model, the NFL works. Why does the NFL work, Andon?
Well, because they have incentivized
exactly
the breakdowns in their contracts.
Absolutely.
There's something to work for. Exactly. You don't just get handed everything right out of the gate.
And that is a recipe for what we're watching. I believe in it. You're already talking about the most pampered athletes. I think basketball players, it doesn't get any more pampered than your modern day AAU graduated basketball player. It doesn't get any more pampered them coming in. You know what I mean? As soon as you're 6'5" in the 6th grade, you're pegged as one of those guys, and you're treated like one of those guys all the way through if you make it to the pros. You don't have a more pampered style of athlete. So then by the time they get to the pros and you give them the money, they're like, chip? For what? Championship for what? Now, you see this money I'm spending? I'm having things.
Well, there's not only, not only are there no rivalries and because they don't have anything to work for, it's that there's no comeback fire in a lot of these teams anymore either. Like, they look at games as losable. Now, that was very under the radar decades ago, years ago. Now it's kind of on the radar. And in tonight's game, I felt like at 7 minutes to go, the Nuggets kind of felt like, it's losable. We could lose this.
I'm telling you this right now. This is one of those teams. Let's look at the standings. This is one of those teams where I see if they catch the wrong team, like a Golden State in that first round, in that let's say they're the 3-6 or the 2-7 matchup. This is one of those teams. I see it on this. And again, my motivations are clear. The only thing I care about now is maxing out on the Jokic years for him. I think he's a guy that deserves a chance at a great resume. Not to say Dirk Nowitzki didn't get the most out of his NBA career. I just don't think Dirk Nowitzki's win percentage matched up with the greatness that he was because of the organization that he was with. So right now you fall into 3rd place. You're a full game behind Memphis. If the playoffs, quote unquote, were to start today, the Nuggets would face off with the Clippers.
Well, don't you think the team has a sense of, no matter what we do, if we keep this current pace up, we're in the playoffs?
Oh yeah, I know they think that.
It's almost like this entitlement. So there are nights like tonight where they're just like, screw it.
Here's the problem with what they think, is that you haven't proven yourself capable of beating the better team. So there's no reason for me to believe that you are ready to just say, oh yeah, and that series, therefore, when we make it to the playoffs, is a foregone conclusion that we win. Iggy D said also NFL head coaches are way tougher than NBA. Bottom line, as long as fans keep paying, nothing will change. In fact, it'll get worse. I don't disagree with that, but Iggy D, it's a Coors Field proposition with pro sports. It's a Coors Field proposition with pro sports in towns where people can afford it too. Denver hasn't hit that level of, I don't know, Indianapolis, Indiana, where you could literally go, the economy will make people decide, I don't got money to be spending to go watch this half-ass fucking basketball. I don't got the money like that. It's like when you're in a city like Denver or you're in a city like Los Angeles, I just don't think that the constraints financially are enough to incentivize a full-scale abandonment of the sport by the fan base. This has to be something that the owners somehow, I would never support this. I am a workers' rights type of guy. I do believe that these guys deserve a large share of what it is that they generate. It's a billion-dollar industry. You deserve a large part of those billions. But at the end of the day, it's not playing out on the court, and now it's a shit product that I don't want to watch. And in general, I think the Nuggets, Andon, are the quintessential. You had said this eloquently in your opening statements. I think they are the quintessential example of what today's basketball player is about. These are guys who do not take pride in what it is that they do, and I'm just judging that by their approach to the game night in and night out.
Yeah, well, and also judge that about how they come into the beginning of the season.
Right.
They're like, well, we can spend the first half of the season getting in shape.
Right.
We don't need to come in prepared and, completely 100% trained. We don't have to train and practice in the offseason because they came in looking sloppy. I mean, pretty much everybody. And it was real disappointing. And that's what started the kind of the consternation of, are they even going to make the playoffs? Like, this is crazy.
Okay.
Then, Jokic catches fire. He has a phenomenal first half of the season. We've got records being broken all over the place. Jokic is doing what he does. And then you say, well, hold on, everybody. It's November. Wait until January, for the end of January and February for Jokic or for Murray to catch fire, and wait for everybody else. And then the assumption is, well, we're not going to play our best because we're saving ourselves for the playoffs. You just wait. You just wait. We're going to turn it on. As soon as we get to that first round, we're going all the way.
There's only one guy on this team, and he never does it. He never has to do it because he approaches the game like a professional, who I believe is capable of flipping that switch in the postseason, and it's Joker. I don't think any of these guys are switch flippers, to be quite honest with you, and that goes from Jamal Murray all the way down the roster. I don't think
they all think they are.
I think they think they are too, but I'd venture to guess that that's going to be a rude awakening. Let's play a game. Which is more likely, that the Nuggets hold on to this 2-3 seed, or the Golden State Warriors pop up into the 5-6 seed area, or they hang around down in 7-8? Which is more likely to you?
I don't see the Nuggets going up. They could drop to 4. I don't see him. I mean, I could see him staying at 3. I think that's completely doable, because let's look at the strength of schedule moving forward. Are they playing a bunch of 500 and above teams?
No, and this is the problem. This was one of those games where it's like, okay, maybe you can afford to lose that game in Milwaukee. All I know is this: they got to go to Detroit tomorrow. Win. Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Detroit is okay. All right. Detroit is a team. What's their win streak on? Detroit has now won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight, and they're playing great basketball. One of those 8 being over the defending champion Boston Celtics, which you'd say out of the bunch that they've won, that was their most quality win.
This is a high quality win.
You said what?
That's a high quality
win. High quality win. And the Nuggets are coming in off a back-to-back. So I don't know what the Nuggets back-to-back win percentage is. I would imagine, though, it's about as mediocre as their primetime win percentage, their primetime game win percentage. You think that's a foregone conclusion that they win that game tomorrow night?
The only reason I say it is because I think that because they tend to do this. They tend to rally after a tough loss.
Okay.
So I think that there'll be some fire there.
Okay, so you're giving them a win tomorrow night at Detroit, and so then they go to Boston on Sunday. Win or loss,
they will lose.
And without question, it's a game on primetime television, and it's against the defending champ.
They'll be coming off probably a pretty good win. Let's say, because they tend to roller coaster like this. I mean, okay, they had a 9-game win streak. I'll give you that. But I'm looking at the season in general. What I've noticed is the ups and downs. And there's one thing that myself and a bunch of fans say, it's that consistency is what we're really lacking.
Our back-to-back is the best in the NBA. Jonathan Kidd says our back-to-back percent. Okay, I hope so. This is my worry. I think that what we saw, like in that 9-game win streak, was we saw the Nuggets beat up on the Sisters of the Poor. I think that looking at that Indiana win and saying that's a quality win because Indiana has a winning record, I think that's a bit of fool's gold, and that might bode in my favor because it's convenient. It's a convenient argument for me to make to prop up my position. But I will say that it's a quality win because they beat a team with a good record. I don't think that anyone would confuse Indiana as a contender. Am I saying that the Detroit Pistons are a contender? No, I am saying the Detroit Pistons will be an upset watch in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Watch it happen. And I do think that's a trap game tomorrow night. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that so let's say it goes my way, Andon.
Okay.
My show, let's say it goes my way. They lose tomorrow night against Detroit. So that means they stay at that 38 wins, and then they go to Boston and they lose back-to-back. You will have, in that 2-game span, if what I'm saying comes to fruition, you will have dropped clearly out of that number 3 spot and down into the number 4 spot. Now, what do you think about this team trying to scuffle its way through 4 more games? Sacramento, Phoenix, obviously those should be 2 wins. Nothing is a foregone conclusion with this team. And then back-to-back games against Oklahoma City before you have to go and face Minnesota and the Lakers again. We're talking about a team that could come out of this next stretch of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, 3-5.
And Fishin loves to poke me on this too. I'm not saying. Let me get to this point though. Every team does have up and downs, but this team is inconsistent in energy and delivery.
Well, and hold on, Andy.
I'm not saying.
And they are also very consistent in not playing their best games against the best level of competition. They're very consistent in that this year. Continue.
So, all right. Oh, but and this is another one that could be an emotional. This could have an emotional component. If you lose to OKC like bad twice in a row, you will either be down in the dumps against Minnesota and shit the bed again, or you're coming in something to prove and just go ham and bury them by 30. I mean, and the issue is we're talking about an emotional component to the end to the Nuggets team that I guess I'm inserting into this only because of what's been going on this whole season, and it's not like you can say, well, they've got this player matched up with this player, matched up with this player. No, we're talking about, are these guys going to be emotionally effective at their game at this time because of what happened in the past?
Is this a team that's earned the benefit of the doubt to say that they can go into the playoffs not playing their best basketball, playing a very inconsistent brand of basketball, and regardless of that, as long as they are seeded in the top 4, they'll be fine? Exactly.
I don't think that that's. I think that the fact we're even having that debate says no.
Yeah. Listen. I am clear on a couple things, and I love Fishing. I wish you would just click that link and get your ass in here. I'm clear on a couple of things. I've watched enough of this team, and I can be as erratic and as demonstrative as Daniel Miller in this case, where I am up and down with this team. There's no question about that. But I'm clear on what I'm seeing. And what we've been watching is a team that is unable to they have to fuck around and find out. They are unable to get up for big games against competition that we would say far and away, okay, here you're a team that we can trust that's going to make it to the Western Conference Finals. Then this should be a game where you play your best basketball because you get up to the level of your competition. They don't meet the level. It seems like they're a team that the level of their competition is they're better than the subpar teams and not as good as the good teams. Is that a fair assessment?
I think that's totally fair. And it's not to Listen.
Oh, the man, the myth, the legend. You said what?
Oh, here we go. Here's our boy.
I'm going to defend myself now.
Okay.
Hold on, Fisher. Now you're getting.
Hold on, I got to figure out.
I'm getting some feedback from you. So I'm going to mute you. I'm going to mute you, and I'm going to come back. You stay right there, brother. Let's see if he can get his audio fixed. This is going to be good because.
But then we got.
Go ahead.
You got the Wizards after LA. And then
White people don't have
LA again. I mean,
Dad, you see that?
you just got to shave it, buddy. You just stop nursing it. Just get the Clippers out.
Fishing, welcome to the proceedings.
I think I got to turn.
Yeah, I just need. I think it might be because you're going through that head. Are you going through that earphone? If you're going through that headphone, that might be it. You might just have to go straight through your computer.
I think I'm gonna.
I'm gonna
hear
mute
me.
I can hear you, but we're getting some feedback from you. So I'm gonna mute you. See if you can get that taken care of, and I'll come back to you. You ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna keep you up here. We're gonna hear him. I think Fishing will. He mounts the best argument for faith in the process, faith in the team. But I just don't trust it, Andon. I just don't trust it. I mean,
what do we? I mean, if we look at, you're coming off wins. Let's say Sacramento, Phoenix. Let's call them in the can.
Okay.
You go to KC and you split 1 and 2. You know, you win 1, lose 1.
Okay.
Then you got. Are we at home versus Minnesota or in Minnesota?
They got Minnesota at the crib.
Okay, that's rough. I would feel better if they were in Minnesota.
This is shaping up to be such a disappointing. Let me take Iggy down so we can see Fishing. Let me see Fishing. Let's see if we got you. That's better.
Can you hear me now?
That's better.
I keep having an echo.
You're having an echo. Are you going through an earpiece? Are you listening?
No.
You're not.
There
you go. That's better.
Whatever you did, don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Whatever you did, that's better. All right, Fishing. Adjudicate yourself, man. Make your case.
Okay. All right. So let me just pull up some stats real quick because I want to be truthful.
He's going to tap into the Google bot.
He's going into the Google bot.
I'm going straight to this stat.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Did Anthony Edwards ever say there was life outside of basketball?
Yeah, he did. As soon as he threw a chair at an old lady in the stands at Denver when they lost Game 7 in Denver the year before.
Okay. Well, he was pretty pissed.
You know, that off the court.
He needs anger management classes, is what you're saying.
I think that there is something that we all. The one thing I trust about Anthony Edwards is that he has an old school desire to be great. I trust that. I don't know if there's anybody. I'll even say including Joker, because I know Joker doesn't center his life around basketball. I think he's just really great at doing it. I don't think that there's anybody on this roster who I think just burns to be great. I don't think that there's anybody on this roster that burns to be great. What's the problem?
I had you live on YouTube as well as on here when I clicked.
Oh, okay.
So I was getting an echo from both of them, and now I'm good now.
Okay. I think. Go ahead, Fishing. Go ahead.
Make me a believer.
I would say with tonight's game was probably as somebody who has stuck up for them. Tonight was the worst loss, I would say, in the Timberwolves game. Lakers lost. I don't really care about it. Lakers played that game. Honestly, if you want to really talk about it, Joker let the team down. You can't take 7 shots and be the MVP and the best player in the world and not be okay.
He was being triple team, Fishing. Like, come on, man. A triple team?
When is he not triple team? So now we're just going to pick and choose what nights the triple teams are okay?
He is not triple teamed every night, brother.
You know that as well as I know that. He was tonight. They were throwing, what's the dude with the braids? I didn't get his name. And Giannis at him. Big, tall dude. What?
Yeah, I know you're talking. The Lopez.
No, not. They were throwing Lopez, Giannis, and
This was a team, by the way, that came in this game without Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis is
we are talking about a team that was before tonight 20-9 at home in Milwaukee. It's not like we're talking about a bad team either. I'm mad.
No, they're not a bad team, but
I wouldn't put tonight on Aaron. Tonight is on Aaron Gordon, Russell Westbrook, and AG. Plain and simple.
Okay, you'll get no argument. You'll get no argument out of me. But make the case that this is a team that. Why do you have? My question to you, Fishing, is why do you have so much confidence in this team's ability to come out of the West?
Because
what is it you're seeing? Huh?
They're the most built. They have the best starting five. And who's better? Who's better? OKC, maybe. What if they moved in the playoffs? They were out in the first round last year.
Yeah, but that was last year. We're talking about this year.
Well, Denver went to the second round last year, and we're all pissed off about that. So we're not going to compare the two. You got to compare apples to apples.
What I'm comparing is what's on the court this season, and what we're seeing on the court this season is statistically the Oklahoma City Thunder, and that includes their starting five, are the league's best defensive rated team and second best offense.
Yeah, because
we're talking.
Who are they behind offensively?
Well, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
No, who are they behind?
Oh, they're behind the Nuggets because they're not. The Nuggets are second.
And how much different is playoff basketball? You and I both know that in the playoffs, those 130-point games are now 110. The floor shrinks.
Because they go harder on defense, sure.
The sphincters get tighter. And right now, Jamal and Joker are 1 and 2 the year that they won the playoffs in the biggest turnaround from their numbers from the regular season to the final to the playoffs. Joker and Jamal are 1 and 2 in that statistical category.
Okay.
18 times Jamal has put up over 30 points in the playoffs.
Okay. So I'll give you Jamal.
I could say Joker and Jamal are the best 1-2 in the league by far, and especially when it comes to the playoffs. Number one. Okay. Number two, they've been there. Christian Brown, I don't care what anybody says, that he has the intangibles of a leader because since high school, the guy's only had one losing season, which was last year, where he did not win a championship.
Yeah.
So they're built. You have AG who's been there, which, like I said, I want him to come off the bench. I don't like AG's game. He's slow. He's slow for the team, but you need him because he's the only one that'll guard.
Yeah.
He guards the best player no matter what. He takes them out of the game, or at least he helps take out one of the best players. Like if they were to match up against Golden State, you would put AG on Jimmy and you would put Jamal on Steph.
Sure.
Or CB on Steph, maybe, just to drive me crazy. Right? Because they don't have who's Golden State? What's the threat to Joker in Golden State? Draymond?
They have none. No, they'll do something. They'll do something similar to what we saw the Lakers do. They'll throw the Golden State will throw some version of double triple at Joker early, try to get the ball out of his hands and make other guys.
Okay, and let's say Jamal or a combination of Jamal MPJ or Jamal Gordon or Jamal and maybe even Westbrook at some kind of rotation. If one of those hits 2 or 3 shots after those triple teams, you will not see them the rest of the series.
Let me tell you something. I like where your head's at. Here to me, Fishing is the flaw in your argument. Michael Porter Jr.
Right.
Okay. Because you can't. This is not a team that's going to win a championship based off of the best two-man. And I don't think you're wrong there. And I think come playoffs, there's no reason to not expect that Joker and Jamal at least will be that version we've seen of themselves. But the last offering that we had in the playoffs of Jamal, they were still that two-man offering, and which Jamal showed up.
And they were gassed last year, though, because Malone approached the playoffs, as Landon said last night. Malone approached the playoffs as if they needed the number 1 seed, and look what happened. They were gassed. And they had a 7-foot cheerleader in DJ playing and couldn't give him 5 minutes because Malone wouldn't put him on the field to let Joker take a rest.
Well, and you just read us some amazing stats about Jamal and Joker in the playoffs. Number 1 and number 2. Rocking it out, Batman and Robin style.
Yeah.
But my issue is that we didn't. It doesn't look like we learned from last postseason.
But the question that you have to ask is not what the Nuggets can do, is who's going to stop them.
No.
Who's better? What do they have? If you're going to tell me Joker is the best player on the planet, then that means he makes everybody better than him. And come playoff time, as he rises, they rise. You can't.
That hasn't
If there's a better player on the court, who's handling Joker?
That has not been the case. That has not been the case with Michael Porter Jr. Statistically, in the playoffs, he has been a playoff no-show in both of his opportunities. You cannot give that metric to guys like I guess you could give it to AG, but AG had a.
What was Porter's numbers in that Lakers series? Because Jamal only made a couple shots. It was Porter. Porter and Joker that got them past the Lakers.
Well, you're actually supporting our point, because really the point is it's going to fall on coaching and it's going to fall on the rest of the players.
Yeah, coach, that's what I've said. I've been mad at
Jamal and Joker.
I've been mad at Malone ever since he went and decided that his girls' basketball volleyball game or something at the beginning of the season was more important than the road trip. That same weekend was the same weekend that Jamal went to the UFC. And everybody got mad at Jamal and said, oh, and Jamal didn't miss a game. Malone missed the game that weekend for outside life, if we want to talk about outside basketball.
Well, and that's exactly the point, though.
But if your coach sets that mindset, then you can't be mad at the players for following the coach.
No, you're making my point for me, because it's not a unified team, because we're having those issues.
Okay, then who's the leader of the team?
Exactly.
It should be your head. It should be your head coach.
It should be your MVP.
It should be somebody, but we can't figure out who it is.
You can't tell me. Hold on. You can't tell me that Joker doesn't lead by example. You just can't tell me that. Every night he shows up and he does his job.
And
he might not be your he might not be your vocal leader, but he's definitely your leader night in, night out in performance and output. We got Coop in the building. He's definitely one that you can count on night in, night out from performance and output. Secondly, and most important,
look at that Tebow picture.
Coop, what up, boy? Coop, what's good?
What's up, fellas? What's happening, chat?
What up?
What's going on?
All right, we got a nice foursome. Going. Coop, what is your take on this team's prospects of making it to the Western Conference Finals from what you've seen thus far?
Well, I never really liked it because the inconsistency, and I really don't think Michael Porter Jr., he's the guy that we need. He needs to go 30 and 15 every night. He's not doing that. So I don't think there's a chance. And I have a conspiracy, the NBA conspiracy, put my tinfoil hat on. I'm going to ask you guys this. Would the league want to see Lakers, Luka, LeBron against the Cavs, or Joker and everybody else?
Oh,
I hate this argument. I so hate this argument. That means you're gonna tell me that the NBA is scripted. That's what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah,
I hate that argument.
It's tough.
What was our Super Bowl again?
Yeah, there's this.
The one nobody wanted to watch. Come on, guys. I do not know.
Hold on.
Fishing. What would you like to see? Luka, LeBron playing against the Cavs. Would that not be watching? Well, that'd be a nice watch.
No, they'd rather, if that's what they want, why wouldn't they just have Boston and New York, both of them in second and third place? Where's the market in Cleveland?
Well, no,
that strategy doesn't make very much sense.
The Knicks aren't very entertaining to watch. I mean, there's no star power.
They don't have to be. They're in New York.
Well, hold on, and I'll say this to Coop's point. The sellability is LeBron in his 20-some-odd season against his old squad with Luka, the Cavaliers playing well. That's sellable. That is very sellable.
No, the conspiracy works out because the logic behind it is bring back the old fans to see some drama.
Yep. Okay.
You know, everybody that might have tuned out the last couple years is going to be like, oh, LeBron's playing the Cavs and he's got Luka.
Then in the top 6 seeds. Okay, so this is my question, right? Nobody has faith that I'm the only one that thinks.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Lakers, Celtics. That's what the NBA wants.
Lakers, Celtics is what the NBA wants.
That's what I would say. They want that every year. That's why I said that. But right now, okay, looking at the standings right now, okay, there's 3 teams in the top 6. If you want to go top 10, there's still 3 teams that have been 8-2 in their last 10 games. Who are those teams? Oklahoma, Denver, and the Lakers. Okay. Before tonight, And the Denver's the only one. Oklahoma just won a game, so that means they just lost, right? So let's look at their schedule. Who have they lost to? They just lost to Minnesota on the back-to-back. That was their loss. They lost to the Timberwolves twice in the last 5 games. Are you guys scared of the Timberwolves?
I don't like them as a matchup for the Nuggets only because, for whatever reason, Rudy Gobert tends to give Joker issues. Joker plays his worst basketball.
Joker's famously quoted for Rudy saying, "Yo, I got Joker." Joker turning to Rudy and saying, "Brother, I have 40." He owns his ass.
Okay. Tell me that.
That is a famous Joker quote.
Brother, tell me that come the play. Tell me that come the postseason. Tell me that come the postseason. Tell me that come postseason. Now here's my only issue. The one thing that we only have their last, and Coop, I want you in on here on this, and I want you in on. We only have the Nuggets' last postseason series to judge them by. Yes, they looked gassed, but it was a season where they were also confounded. Joker was held in check for the most part in Game 7, and we saw Jamal Murray the entire series be hounded and harassed.
Yeah.
This is what we have last.
Defense on Jamal.
This is what we have last to go off of. And now look at the way this team is currently constituted. So let's say you get similar, if not a little better, out of Joker and Jamal. Who else are you turning to? And I'm not even talking about facing off against Minnesota. I'm talking about making it through a first-round series against a team like a surging Golden State Warriors squad.
Were they not up 20 in that Minnesota in that Game 7? They're up 20.
Yeah, they dominated that game until the last.
That's the problem. Even they were gassed. I heard Scott Hastings said he had talked to some people in Boston that said if the Nuggets would have gotten through, that would have probably would have lost.
And they said and every report that Denver would have walked through Dallas.
Yep.
And they
swept them last year after they started in the series. My question would be the rebuttal. The only way I could answer your question is with a question. How did those other teams get better to beat Denver? I mean, it took a last.
It's not how they got better. It's how we got worse.
It took a last quarter miracle for Minnesota to beat them.
It's not how we got. It's not how they got better. It's how we got worse. What it appears to be.
We're the same team minus 1 player.
No, we're the same team minus 3 players. And what it would appear because they didn't
last year.
No. But last year's team coasted through a Lakers squad that they had the Lakers numbers. I don't think that you 4 games swept the Lakers, but let's be honest, that wasn't a Lakers team that matched up well with the Nuggets at all. So and they had 2 guys. This is a team that hasn't been the same since, quite honestly, Jeff Green, Bruce Brown, and a combination of those 3 guys brought a veteran presence and ability for Michael Malone to trust his 7-man rotation. And all we have left is what we saw last year, which was a team that, again, you ran through the Lakers, but I don't think that there's any pat on the back for beating a team that you were clearly better than. When you got up against stiffer competition, we saw what we had last. And what this season has shown us, mind you, fishing, is that the Nuggets have been better than the bad teams and not up to snuff against the good teams. And that's a fact, friend. That's a fact.
And then there's also one other big factor here too, which is the Nuggets are playing at this time of year worse defense than at this time last year,
without question.
And the defense was like very energetic and very reliable from February onward.
You said impressive teams. Who's beating impressive teams? Well,
I'm looking at OKC's last 10 games. Okay. They played the Nets, Timberwolves back to back.
That's a
Jazz,
good team.
Timberwolves, Heat, Pelicans, Grizzlies, Raptors, Suns, Bucks, Kings. Lost to the Warriors.
Grizzlies, Bucks,
and they lost to the Warriors twice in that, and lost to the Warriors and the Mavericks. And
that should tell you something about the Dubs and the Mavericks.
So if we're going to compare victories, Denver's all pretty similar. They just got off to a worse start than Oklahoma did.
It's not. You're a Nuggets fan, right?
Fishing, that's to you. That's a question to you.
What was it? Sorry.
You're a Nuggets fan. Nuggets, Broncos. That's your.
Well, yeah.
You look okay. Go ahead, Andon. My fault.
He was born in Hawaii, but he bleeds orange and gold, just like he should.
Guilty as charged, he says. Guilty as charged.
He's got a Shannon Sharp jersey back. Is that what that is?
Hanging up
It's
there.
actually a Fumagalli.
Oh.
Another buck.
Listen, Andon, and really quick, Oren. I told you a couple weeks ago that watch out for the Lakers because JJ Redick is coaching his ass off. Like he's really got those boys playing defense. So the Lakers could come out of the West because JJ Redick he's heads and tails above a lot of those coaches out there, and I think he can get them past the West because the West isn't that deep.
Do we really think JJ Redick is coaching?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
There's not LeBron telling him what to do?
No, not now.
No, I think LeBron.
As long as LeBron's in the picture, I'll never believe that.
I think
team-wise,
I think
LeBron's
LeBron
not
has
going
more
to spend all night watching tape.
Yeah, I think
LeBron has no say. That's why they drafted Bron.
No. That's a front office. But I'm saying I think that LeBron has more than enough respect for JJ and JJ's approach to the game to trust him to put in game plans and the triple team, for instance. And I will say this to Coop's point. I think this is a year because I think we all can agree that this is a down year in the NBA in terms of looking at dynasty caliber talent anyway. And I do think coaching will be the difference maker for whoever at least comes out of the West, if not forever wins it all, who ends up winning it all, because someone will have to put together something that is good enough to get Cleveland or Boston off of their square. So I do think that this is a year where coaching is probably going to matter more than in years previous. Because I don't see a team that is far and away trustworthy enough, including OKC, to your point, just because of their age. I don't see a team that is infallible enough to say it's not going to take a good game. A good game plan will not overcome what it is they bring to the table. I do think that it is a wide open field from that. But I also would say this. Okay, let me ask all four of you this, and we'll start with you, Andon. Then we'll go to you, Fish, and then we'll go to you, Coop. Who are the best? Give me the team that are the best built team. Top three seeds in East and West. Give me your best built team out of the top three seeds in the East and the West. And then you first.
In the East, Boston. Boston just, I mean, you know, there's not a player on the starting lineup that you can't rely on Boston. I mean, they're just solid. And their bench is not embarrassing. So there's that. And then for the West, I mean, I think I would say I'm gonna have to say the Nuggets because I want it to be the Nuggets. But I would also say, what do we need to see out of the Nuggets going into the playoffs? Where do we need to be player by player to make us all feel confident that they're going to get deep? You know, make it past the second round. Make it. If we're going to the Western Conference Finals, what does each player in the starting lineup need to look like physically, and how many points do they need to be putting up consistently for us to feel confident?
Okay, and so out of those two, and then I'm coming to you next, Fishing. I muted you just because there's a little feedback. I muted you, but okay, Andon. So, what is the recipes for success for both of those rosters? As you just start with the Nuggets because you kind of asked the question that made me you kind of said something that made me ask this question. The recipe for success for the Nuggets, and then the recipe for success for Boston, and then we'll go to Fish.
Well, I mean, I think it's coming out of the last maybe 6 games of the season. We come out above 500 with no injuries, and even if we lose, we see a team that only loses by, 2-3 points or even loses in overtime because they're trying really hard at the end. They show you they can finish going into the postseason.
No, hold on. And what I'm asking you is what will be the thing that propels roster-wise, the recipe for success that propels that team through the playoffs?
Oh, as far as like changes to the roster
or just what you will need to see to know that team is going to do well in their playoff run. First with the Nuggets, then with Boston.
Well, with the Nuggets, we need consistency out of MPJ and AG to be, to be putting up at least, in the high teens to low 20s every night consistently. Christian Brown, he needs to still playing solid. I mean, he's doing what he's doing, but those guys need to pull their weight. And Russell Westbrook, much to Jonathan Kidd's point, stop turning over the ball.
Okay, so turnovers down. You need better play or more consistency out of
and more fire on defense. I want it, and I didn't see the whole game tonight, but did Peyton Watson play a lot of minutes?
No P. Watt. I don't think P. Watt played at all tonight, did he?
Yeah, I mean, is he still injured, or like P. Watt needs to come out and do the P. SWAT? He needs to put on the P. SWAT show a few more times.
He's down. So better defense by committee led by P. Watt. All right, Fishing. Who are the two out of the top 3 seeds? Who are the 2 teams that you got that would face off in the finals? And what will be the recipe success for both of those teams to make it there?
I like Cleveland. I like Donovan. I'm a big Donovan Mitchell fan, so probably a little biased there. And I can't stand Boston. Anything Boston, so I'll never cheer or pick a Boston team. So I would like to see Cleveland. And in the West, out of the top 3 teams, I like Denver, but I've said this before. I think the scariest team and the biggest threat to Denver is Houston. With the way they go.
I agree with that. I think they're having that team languishing around the bottom half. It does scare me. It did because of the way they're built, because of Şengün mainly. If he can give Joker a run at that center position, just in terms of output, I agree. I think Houston does pose a huge threat to the Nuggets.
And they have a backup, isn't it? Their backup plant or something. They got Capella or somebody. Has a backup as well, so they can come in with 2 big men, where Denver doesn't have another one off the bench unless you put DJ in. So I would say Houston is the scariest team to me for Denver.
Okay, Coop, you.
All right, I kind of agree with Fishing, but I think in the East there's going to be some upsets this year. I think you're going to have to watch out for Detroit, some of those teams. I think Cleveland is hungry right now. I think Donovan Mitchell, I think he feels like this is his best chance to maybe get that ring. And I think that they will probably come out of the East. But I don't think they'll have to beat Boston. I think Boston will be upset for some reason. I don't know why. I just think that somebody will get them before they come out of the East. In the West, I'm telling you, man, for some reason, this whole Luka, he's got motivation, and LeBron might be on his last couple years, and he might not, I don't know how much longer. So there's a lot of motivation for the Lakers. And behind the scenes, you don't know what they're going to do. But Luka's got a lot of motivation now because his trade. JJ Redick's looking like a brainiac. He's looking like a mini Coach K out there. So I think it's going to be Lakers and Cavs.
Okay. And this is what I would offer up to you guys. Because as badly as I want to see, I think the Nuggets are the fool's gold in the West. You got to understand, I'm not basing that off of anything other than what I've seen them do. Well, I'm basing that off of 2 things. Number one, they can't get a consistent performance out of Michael Porter Jr., I think, to save their lives. And for that reason, I think the Nuggets will be the team that gets upset. And that is what will spark the changeover with this. So I'm counting, as much as I want to believe, I think that the Nuggets are a first-round exit waiting to happen. I really do believe that. I genuinely believe that. So I will have to give it to the far and away the best team coming out of the West. I think this is the year that OKC makes its case for being that next squad. So because of the additions of Hartenstein and what's the kid out of Chicago that's now with, they just got better defensively with 2 players, Isaiah Hartenstein, and why am I forgetting the bald-headed white boy out of Chicago? You know what I'm talking about. So that those two additions in and of itself, to me, they got better defensively. I think they are boasting the best offensive threat in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think that they do the one thing consistently that you have to do, though, when it comes to playoff basketball, which is defend. Unfortunately for us as Nuggets fans, I do believe that this will be the season, though. The way that this season ends will be the season that spurs up a shakeup with our Nuggets, which is what I want. I really do want that because I'm just tired of looking at this product the way that it's built. So maybe part of my heart's in that as well. I'm not rooting against our boys, but I do know that if you keep doing something and you're doing it the wrong way, but you keep being successful doing it, it just kind of inspires you to keep doing the same thing over. I think they need to change, but I think it's going to come regardless. And out of the East, I do think that this is the year that Boston, after just watching enough, I think that Cleveland approaches it from the outside in. That's not going to win it for you. Boston plays the reason I'm picking these two teams is because I think consistently they both play the best defense. They both play the best defense right now. Considerably, they are the two best defensive teams. It'll be a finals that no one wants to watch. This will be a continuation of the NBA's ratings, kind of taking a tank. No one wants to see OKC versus Boston. It'll be a plod through series. But that's what I got going. So with all of what we've talked about and all of our beliefs, and let me unmute Fishing. Make a case to me now as a Nuggets fan that the Nuggets actually can win the championship as currently constituted. This is just a Nuggets fans only conversation.
I'll take it. I think the Nuggets can make a deep run, if not win a chip this year, because I think they might have something in the tank that we don't know about. Like there's the temptation to believe that they're going to turn it up on defense, that Malone's going to be like, this is it, guys. It's time to go all out. We're going to scheme the hell out of these teams. We're going to watch tape, and we're going to make sure that our defense is just phenomenal against everybody else. And really press that into get P-Watt back out there, get the bench playing a hard defense, and say the point differential, if you guys go out there and in 5 minutes only score, if you're only putting up 3 field goals and you're only scoring 6 points, that other team better only score 2. In a more than full court press on everything, just all the energy, all the everything you can on defense, and they'll win. But I think that's the X factor. Can they do it?
Fishing?
No, I don't need the experience. That's my argument. It has been. I think in the next 20 games or less, something like that.
Yeah, it's got 22 games left in the season.
Yeah.
22, 23.
He needs to figure out a way to do something he hasn't done in the last 2 years, a rotation. Even with KCP last year, I didn't feel there was a rotation. I don't feel there has been one all year, at least a consistent rotation. And you've got 25 games to do it, and if not, you're gonna have to rely on either MPJ or CB or a combination with Aaron Gordon to make up where that 2-man game starts getting doubles and triple teams and leaving those guys open. They're gonna have to hit open shots. I mean, that's their best chance. And then you have to hope that Aaron Gordon locks down whoever they're playing, and hope that I mean, looking at the standings, I don't see how a first round exit is possible. I mean, we're looking at what?
Look at how they played against the Clippers this year.
Yeah, they own LA teams. I'm not even
okay. All right. Don't let the Clippers or Golden State slip into that.
Who scares you on the Clippers?
Norman Powell, first of all, the guy who damn near scores 50 against
one player. Okay.
No, it's not just one player. It's Kawhi Leonard. It's their ability.
Oh, is he going to play?
Yeah, he'll play. He'll be.
I'm with Fish on this.
Them,
the Clippers are no threat.
Okay. All right.
No threat.
All right. I'm not. Listen. I'm more afraid of them matching up with somebody like Golden State.
Are you scared of it? So right now we are talking about the 3 play-in teams as the Timberwolves, the Mavericks, and the Kings.
Well, they're in third, so right now they would match up against the Clippers, if I'm not mistaken.
Right now, yeah, they would. Let's say they get to the 2nd seed. They're half game behind Memphis right now.
Okay.
So if they were to get to the 2nd seed, they would be playing a play-in team. And Golden State is right. I mean, they're obviously surging, but within the Clippers, Golden State, and Timberwolves is a half a game separates those 3 teams, and then you have Dallas and the Kings on the bottom.
So you're talking about between the team that bounced them last year? You're talking about the team that bounced them last year?
Yeah, that's missing their best player, their second best player in Cat. You're gonna tell me
Yeah, they're
Minnesota
not
got better
built the
without
same
Cat.
without Cat.
Okay.
They just aren't.
You tell me that after they played Minnesota.
Because now you don't have to have AG on Cat. Now you can put AG and switch him off and on and off with N.
We're going to get a chance to see them get a second shot at it in a couple of games. So we'll see.
Minnesota was also, what was Minnesota last year? What seats were they? They were like a 3 or 4.
Well, they met up second round. They met up second round, so I don't know. Okay, hold on. Give me one more, and then let's go to Coop and get Coop's thoughts. Give me one more. Who else were you trying to match up in that playoff? Who else would they face? I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that they beat Golden State.
I would put Golden State out of that because I think they'll surge up to at least get to the 5 or 6 seed. I don't see them with Jimmy Butler the way they've been playing. I mean, they're on a 5-game win streak right now, best in the West. So I wouldn't see Golden State being in the play-in. So then you would have Clippers would be the 7th seed, so they wouldn't be in the play-in. So Timberwolves, Dallas, and Kings.
So the team that bounced them, a team that I don't know what Dallas is going to be when it's all said and done, but they'll definitely have the talent to do it. That's a team that went all the way to the finals last year. Yes, minus Luka, but it's still a team that went to the finals last year. They definitely made it further than the Nuggets did. And both teams are different in roster. You telling me that that's impossible, that either of those teams wouldn't bounce the Nuggets? That's the most dangerous type of playing. They'd be better off.
So you're telling me Dallas could beat OKC again? I mean, they did last year.
I'm telling you that Dallas could.
We're going to just go off of last year. That's it.
No, I'm telling you that that's a roster. I'm telling you that that's a roster. Listen, I have the way that the Nuggets are playing as my
I don't see either 3 of those teams. Sacramento without DeAndre Ayton.
I don't mind. No, Sacramento. I'm not scared of Sacramento.
Dallas, Kyrie is the only one that scares me. Minnesota, you have Ant. And
adjust your binoculars a little bit, though.
But not of those 3 teams. I don't see how the Nuggets, if they were.
You're confident. You're confident because you're confident based on your fandom of the Nuggets. I don't think that's solely.
No, I'm just confident in who they're playing.
Well, okay. You guys are, and DMAC loves to say this, assumed incompetence syndrome. You're assuming that nothing's going to change by the time we get to the postseason. I'm banking on that Malone and the coaching staff are identifying the issues we're talking about right now.
Well, okay, so when would you expect Coop? I want to get your answer to the question of the Nuggets recipe for success, but I want to ask Andon this based on what you just said. We've had 50 games, right? We've had 50 games.
Yep.
When does this diagnosis and assessment and change come? When does this happen?
According to a lot of fans, and Fishing included, in the playoffs.
Okay. All right. Hey man.
Like this.
If you like it,
I didn't say that. The NBA says the season doesn't start.
Well, this is like the NHL argument. I got tons.
Am I wrong?
I got tons of buddies who are like, I don't watch anything but playoff hockey because it's not the same game, and the NBA is turning into that.
Okay. Hey man.
Hey, if it was the same game, then there would be fights in hockey in the playoffs.
Coop,
not the same game.
Give me your. I know you're honking for the Lakers, but give me your Nuggets recipe for success.
You know what, Oren? When the Nuggets in the middle of the season went on a wine tasting tour, I was like, they're not trying to win. They're not trying to win, man. Listen, I don't know. Like, here's the problem with a lot of people in Denver is like Fishing and like you guys care more than the Nuggets do, like the players do. Like after you win that championship, it's hard to get that motivation back. That's why when when Kobe and they did the 3-peat and the Jordan, like you don't know how hard it is to win the NBA. So I don't know if they might be tapped out. I'm seriously, I don't know if they look a little tapped out. Jamal's letting his fro grow. There's just like little things I notice, and I'm like, I don't know.
You're 1,000% right, and it's kind of the reason that's the reason Fishing and Oren and I all argue about this all the time, because life outside of basketball. That was the initial break in the dam.
Yep.
That was the crack. That was the instant that you were like, that's it.
Fishing's not wrong though. That it's an NBA.
The entire NBA.
He's not wrong there. It kind of sucked. It kind of sucked to hear him say that, only because you would figure that winning a championship would do something to a guy that would say, yeah, but I'm not like y'all.
the NBA is also built differently now, and ever since Golden State, you got to remember the aprons and bird rights and everything got added afterwards. We won't see dynasties in the NBA like we did before. That's my solid.
This is true.
It's about the fairest way the NBA could put a salary cap on it without being baseball or without being football.
That's a fair point. It's almost designed. It's almost designed.
Dynasty is you're asking players to take less money. Do you go to your employer and say, "Man, my company's so good, I would take less money to get some more people here"? You're never going to say that in your whole life. So why
Let me
would
ask
you
you guys
expect
this.
an NBA player to do that, or any sports player?
Don't you judge my character? You don't know what I would do, Fisher. What are you going to say?
Let me ask you guys this. Do you think that this one and done is, because there's a lot of players I see that are in the end that shouldn't really be there, to be honest with you.
Agreed.
And there's a lot, like more than enough. So when you guys go back to the Jordan year in North Carolina and Patrick Ewing, those guys like stayed and they built a brand. So by the time they came to the NBA, they had these brands built and people were excited to see the Ewings, Jordans, all those guys that were coming in that had stayed in college. And I don't think the NBA is struggling because they have a lot of guys that aren't very good and they're being pushed in the NBA. The Bronny James, just like things like that, just little things. Among other things, that's like one of the big things to me.
I'll tell you this, Coop. To your point, I'll say this. I think that one thing that could save, and I'll give you my recipe after this. I think one thing that could save NBA basketball is going a step further. What was the rule that they instituted that you had to be how many years removed from your high school class in order to make it? I think they need to extend that.
Yeah.
I think that's certain. How many is it?
2, I think.
2 years. So I think they need to extend that. 4 years removed from your high school class before you can be eligible for the draft. And the reason I say that is because then guys will go where the money is. And there's money in NIL, there's money in college. And then college basketball gets better. It can be, because it's not going to be the G League that is the actual minor leagues of basketball. It's better that it's on the college level because you get the rah-rah, the shish boom bah. It's actually a better organization. It's better ran. The NCAA as an organization is just better ran than the NBDL or the G League or whatever. So I think to your point, Coop, I think that just making it like, listen, we want pros here. We don't want to stop guys from coming to make $1 million, but we want guys that are pros. There's no reason for you to be developing on. There's no reason for you to be developing on an NBA bench when we need NBA guys, because NBA coaches obviously for some odd reason don't have the time to coach. I still don't understand that shit, but whatever. They don't have time to coach guys. Okay, fine. So
they don't have time to be therapists.
No, they don't. So learn that shit down in college. Learn how to set a pick, learn how to come off a pick, learn how to set a screen, learn how to defend, learn what a defense. Learn how to be told no, all those things. And you get to earn some cash. You don't have to come running up here with your sob story about your family and needing to pay the family. You can make that money down in the NBDL.
There's only like 3 Cooper flags this season. The rest are garbage.
Oh, my God. When you look at, to your point, Fishing, just look at the number 1 rated team and their average age of their player. Auburn has 24 and 25-year-old guys. You know what I'm saying? So they're making the case. And then I'll say for this to all you, and I appreciate you guys. And I'm going to do this more. I think I should do this more. I think on the back end of every show, I'm just going to open up the and not try and do it through the phones. I'm just going to open up the line, and we're going to do this a lot more because I love talking to y'all like this more than trying to read I can read, but sometimes it gets a little challenging. I'll say this: and I don't think this can happen, but I'll hope. The recipe for success for the Nuggets to win in the finals is for Michael Porter Jr. in the next 20 games to become a man's man basketball player. I don't think it's possible. They need a legit third option scorer because I think they can muster defense. I think they can put that together. And you were talking about P. Watt coming back. He'll be back from injury. I do like what they've been able to get out of Zeke Naji. He looks active. I think 2 things to combine what you said, Andon, about, and I think Fishing, you said it as well. I think that rotation thing for Mike Malone, I need him to be daring. He's got to be a baseball manager, willing to call in a guy who's the left-hander, who you're calling in situationally because you're watching and you're like, this is a place where I feel like I can use my 8th or 9th guy. This is because of this matchup. I like that matchup, and I know what I got in this guy, and I know what I can get out of Zeke. I can get a good 7 minutes out of him against it, and he's got to be willing to extend that. I think he'll do that because I think he knows his ass is on the line. But more than that, and this is why I unfortunately I don't have the highest hopes. Michael Porter Jr. is a huge disappointment. And it's not just him not hitting threes. I think it's just his maturation process as a 6'10" very talented basketball player that just plays timid and space case. I think he's more important than Aaron Gordon. I think he's more important than the addition of Russell Westbrook. I think he's more important than the maturation of Christian Brown, of any of their young guys. It's this one guy who, when you look at him, you go, it's all there. You got the size. You're not an accomplished ball handler, but you know he's got aggression. He'll rebound. He can play better defense.
I was about to say about his rebound.
He can play better defense, but he has these moments when you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
I got to agree. And before you go on, it's the dude you're defending is taking a 3-pointer and you're watching him.
Right.
Like that shit from MPJ drives me up the wall. Like he just goes,
and
your hand in his face. What are you doing?
MPJ can't guard a parked car. Dude cannot guard anyone. And everybody keeps trying to tell me, they keep trying to sell Michael. They try to sell Michael Porter Jr. to me like a stock, like a high stock. Like, take him. Like, I'm like, no, man, he can't play defense. Sorry, Andy, go ahead.
Well,
I will say though, when Porter doesn't score,
he sinks threes like it's nobody's business, and you're like, everything's good. No, to Warren's point, and jump from here, MPJ needs to play defense. Bad.
But when MPJ doesn't score, unlike Gordon minus tonight Christian Brown or the other guys, when he's not scoring, he's one of their leading rebounders.
He is one of them.
He is by far one of their best rebounders besides Joker. He's better than AG, and AG's on the inside. How does that happen?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So that I don't think that's a part. I think everybody gets enamored with the scoring of MPJ. And don't really look when it comes to the defensive and offensive boards. He's usually right there behind Joker, and I don't think it gets enough credit because his scoring isn't always there. But he does have that defensive side of the game. Maybe not so much guarding as well, but he is long. He can create a distance, a reach. He can create some kind of, not a natural. Cause a mismatch or something, you know what I mean, with his size. But I mean, but when he's not scoring, he is. I would argue that he is a bigger part to their team than just the scoring part of it.
He's almost a liability on the floor because there's no one thing. The one thing about OKC, and I hate to keep harping on this squad, and then we're going to do this a couple more minutes, and we're going to get out of here. I hate to keep harping on OKC, but the one thing about them defensively, it's not that they're just this great defensive team. It's that they utilize their length. The Nuggets have length, but you can't really tell. You know what I'm saying? You can't really tell by virtue of the way that they expend that energy lengthwise on the defensive end. The AG's real cool, calm, collected type. It pisses me off. It really does. It irks the shit out of me. Watching him play basketball now has just gotten to be like, I don't know, man. It's just there's too much of a malaise there, and fine if it works, but it just doesn't work for me. And I look at MPJ and I'm just like, you're just a waste of length and size. And to your point, Fishing, he does hit the glass, and that is a part of playing defense. He does wipe glass, but I just don't see he doesn't pose a problem for opposing offenses. The Nuggets' length too many times doesn't pose a problem for opposing offenses.
Or if I was Michael Malone, I would say MPJ, glad rebounds, offense, defense, and the mid range. You're cutting and slashing. That's it. No 3-pointers at all.
I've been saying that. I would tell him you no longer have a green light to just sit out, park your ass outside.
He does have a mid range shot.
For the last 2 seasons, offensive rebounding is almost non-existent for this team.
Yeah.
Like it's just not there. So.
Man, you motherfuckers, man, what do I always say? What do I always say? It don't get no bigger than the motherfucking hood or the chat. So hold on, man. Let me get a piece of.
My face won't be so swollen next time.
Go get that Journey Spice, man. Go get that Journey Spice.
Go get that Journey Spice. Go get that Journey Spice. Now listen, this was a first. We got Coop showed up, Fishing's in the house, Andon G's in the building. Jonathan Kidd stuck with us. Timothy Rimothy is in the building. Who else do we got that stuck around? I love this shit. Iggy D, Grass Valley Greg. This is how we're doing it, gentlemen. This is how you show up, gentlemen.
I like it.
Now on, this is how you show up for this motherfucking show. I really appreciate y'all. No, for real. So
I appreciate you.
I'm gonna say this. Anytime I'm on these airwaves, you're welcome. You hear me? Anytime I'm on these airwaves, you're welcome. And from now on, this is how we're doing it. Amen to that?
Amen to that.
Amen.
Amen to that?
Amen.
Let's do it.
So, hold on. Let me just get one in here.
I want to thank the whole world who came out here. I love y'all.
I'm a nice person.
For Andon G, Coop GT, Fishing Cards, I'm Oren Lamena. That is 5 to go. And this is the Kill You With Truth Network. All right, peace, and I'm at. Hold on.
I'm really like that.
Hold on.
And now it's time to play everybody's favorite game.
Good news. Good news.
We are having a combination. Jesus Christ. We can't run.
Thank you.